inverted, narcissistic, and most importantly, completely pointless. Come waste an hour of your week with The Starting Block, Friday nights Australian time at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. Get in touch with us on Twitter at The Starting Block, no K at the end. Also, subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or iTunes by searching for The Starting Block, all one word, or on Podbean at startingblock.podbean.com. Join the blockheads, tuning in their millions, right around the world.
You're listening to The Starting Block on tavshow.com.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Okie dokie, roll 'em!
Nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change.
Hey, welcome to The Starting Block for another week. Big show as always. We got one more day left of this fucking stupid election cycle. We're going to cover it as quickly as possible in segment 1, then get to our regular pointless bullshit segment 2 and 3. All that and much more here on the block. Greeno here from The Starting Block. On behalf of the block, we just wanted to let you all know that we're all in this together. Well, except if you have coronavirus, then stay the fuck away. But in every other situation, we're in it together. To all of you on the front lines, those of you turning a footstool, a wok and a pitchfork into a home gym, those of you who have given your housemates a mental breakdown because you decided lockdown was a great time to learn the keyboard and the only thing you can play after 8 weeks is chopsticks over and over and over again. And those of you who are homeschooling and are now understanding the question you used to harass your maths teacher with of, when the fuck are we ever going to need to know this in the real world, is coming back to bite you on the ass. Just remember, like a 1990s Australian sitcom, we're all in this together. The days may be long, but in times like this, you can rest assured we will be here to waste an hour of your week, Friday nights Australian time, at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. So take care, social distance, whack on a mask, and subscribe to our show on iTunes. It may not cure coronavirus, but it sure will help us with our rankings. And isn't that really the most important thing right now?
Public Radio's loss is tavshow.com's game. You're listening to The Starting Block.
Hey, welcome to The Starting Block for another week. You've got myself, Greeno, and I'm joined by a man who assures me he's
fully recovered from his bout of monkeypox. My co-captain Damo, are we, sir?
Very good, Greeno. Good evening to you. Good evening to the boys and girls out there on board the listenership millions, the blockheads, Greeno, the millions right around the world. Having a fucking great time they are out there on a Friday night. How the fuck are you, my man? Yes, monkeypox. Do you know anyone who's caught it? Apparently we got our first case today in New South Wales. And can I just...
Lock us down.
Well,
ASAP.
yeah. Can I just give one of these, Greeno? Nice, Gary! To our state, New South Wales. You and I, we're both very proud New South Welshmen, Greeno.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say congratulations, New South Wales. We're off the mark. Let's go.
Number one.
This is how
Get the tally going. I want to see New South Wales health. I want to see monkeypox cases. I want to deaths. I want to know infections. Have we got a vaccine rollout yet? Have we got on the phone to Pfizer?
Yeah.
About how do we combat the deadly monkeypox?
Before we go to Pfizer, Greeno, we have to promise everyone in the country that we're going to develop a really good one in a university in Queensland. Okay, and then when that doesn't really work out, then we'll have to say, all right, well, I guess we'll go to Pfizer then, if that's what you want. You know, that's the approach we're going to have to the monkeypox.
Exactly.
What's the effect? Like, what are the symptoms of the monkeypox? Do you know? Because I hope it doesn't involve Greeno like wielding a baseball bat and smashing in a Starbucks window or something. I would hope that is not one of the flow-on effects from getting the pox, Greeno.
I haven't researched it yet. I'll have to tune into Joe Rogan this week, find out.
Joe Rogan. Do you reckon Joe will know what the monkeypox is all about?
Joe's fucking all over it. He'll have come up with a few different theories on the monkeypox.
Eat more tuna, guys. If you want to beat the monkeypox, eat tuna, because monkeys don't eat fish.
They don't eat fish, and that'll completely combat it. Joe's heard from a mate in the UFC that'll fix the monkeypox ASAP. So that's where I'll get my health advice when it comes to the possible aspect of monkeypox going forward.
Do you reckon it's possible? Like, let's just say 12 months from now. Let's mark this episode down in your books. Okay.
20th of the 5th, 22.
20th of the 5th, 22.
Full-blown monkeypox bonanza.
All right. Well, no. Let's reinvestigate in 2023, Greeno. Let's see if in 2023 let's say if 80% of people have forgotten about COVID and are instead talking about monkeypox like it's a new thing, and they'll be saying, well, you got to wear your mask, all right, you got to get your vaccine for the monkeypox now, obviously. And let's see, let's reinvestigate, mark this show down in your notebook, and we'll come back a year from now and see if monkeypox is the next big thing. Because, maybe we should buy some shares or something in one of these manufacturers.
Nice, Gary! I think this is very similar to a lot of big business out there. I think this is just a flash in the pan. Like COVID's got fucking the big dollars behind it.
It's a fad-demic, Greeno.
Exactly. So we'll see this monkeypox fade out pretty quickly under the big monopoly that is COVID. It'll be fine. We'll be sweet.
Do you reckon it's like COVID is the Manchester United and monkeypox is the Aston Villa or the Leicester City?
Correct.
Monkeypox is pretty good, and it will scrap for a good half a season, and they'll be around the midway mark. But the Manchester United is just eventually going to have too much money and too much momentum, and they'll just kind of follow over the top of them. So
correct. We're going to relegate the monkeypox.
Relegating monkeypox. Nice, Gary. Do you reckon? Hey, can we give a nice Gary too? Nice, Gary. Because I don't think we addressed this last week. Ange Postecoglou, Greeno, winning the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. He was appointed Celtic manager earlier this year. Yeah,
correct.
The former Brisbane Roar, Melbourne Victory,
Australian coach.
Australia's Socceroos coach. He coached in Japan as well. And he got hired by Celtic. And there's videos of
they hated it.
Well, yeah, and then there's videos of UK-based sports reporters going like, "Who the fuck is this guy? I've never heard of him. Like, what the fuck are they doing up there?"
It's a joke, is it?
Yeah,
this is going to be a joke.
Yeah, and they're like, he doesn't even have his European fucking continental license. Who are these people? What a clown, And next thing you know, he's fucking won the premiership, and he's walking around, and the Celtic fans are chanting his name, and singing songs and shit to him. And it goes back because obviously people started getting right. I think his name's Alan. What's his name, Greeno?
It's Alan something or other. I know the guy you're talking about. I've seen that clip a few times this week.
Yeah. And like he's on TalkSport, which is it's a good station if you like Premier League football. You know, like it's just basically like it's like the the AFL version of SEN radio, Greeno, but for Premier League.
Is there, what do you need to make it happen?
Yeah, it's like 90% Premier League, and it doesn't matter what time. Like it could be 2 a.m. You tune into this fucking radio station, and it'd be like, so anyway, the new manager at Arsenal has got some hurdles to overcome, and it's like, okay, 22 hours of Premier League. 2 hours of random stuff, and the random stuff will be like 3-minute segments spliced in. It's like, so I guess we're gonna have to talk about women's tennis for the next 240 seconds at least to appease the diversity officer that we recently hired at this fucking radio station. So anyway, what are the chicks doing out there? And then they'll give someone like a quick little 2-minute spot, and it's like, all right, thank God that's over. Sir Alex Ferguson was seen taking a shit in a public toilet today. Like, let's talk about the toilet paper that the great man uses right after this break. You know, it's a great fucking radio station.
Can we get it done, though?
Can we get the deal done? Yeah, Sir Alex can get anything done. Manchester United's in the toilet right now, by the way, and they have been ever since Sir Alex left. So it does make you wonder.
Not getting it done.
Not getting it done. So this fucking guy, he did it. He came out and said, "Oh, you know what? He took it the right way. He was like, yeah, all right, I fucked that up. I was wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong. Like, congratulations, he did an amazing job. Fucking well done. Good luck to him, you know? So, nice Gary to the broadcaster as well.
Nice, Gary!
Why, because he fucked up?
Yeah, because he fucked up, and then he didn't, obviously, what can you say if you, at the start of the season, mock the manager of a football team and say, who the fuck is he? Don't know what they're doing. Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck is this guy? This stupid Australian guy. And they were like, "Where's he coaching? Japan? Fucking what is he doing?" Like it was that level. Like he doesn't know what he's fucking in for. This guy. He comes in his first season, right, and smashes it. Wins the fucking premiership. Wins the competition in his first fucking season in charge. So all of these like pompous fucking ignorant British twats who are just all they know about is the English football, Greeno. They don't know what's going on in the rest of the world, right? And they only know other teams when they play them in European cups and stuff. So they had no idea who Ange Postecoglou was.
They didn't know that he's won everywhere he's ever been.
Exactly. Like he's a fucking good manager and he's a good coach.
He happens to be a pretty good manager. He just seems to win no matter where he is, whether it's Australia, Japan, international stage. He seems to win games. He must seem to know what he's doing. Well, did he do under 21s in Australian soccer? Did he take them to a World Cup as well?
Yeah.
He does all right.
Yeah, he does all right. He and you know what it is like with him? It's his system. I reckon when you hire Ange Postecoglou, you're hiring his system. Do you know what I mean? Because all of his teams, if you look back, like go right the back way to Brisbane Roar, Greeno, then Melbourne Victory, then the Socceroos. He tried with the Socceroos, but I don't think the players were up to playing the kind of system that he likes. And he likes to press the opposition. He likes high tempo fucking defense. Like the defense is always shifting and getting in the face of the opposition and stuff. And that takes a certain kind of player that's willing to you have to buy into the team. It's team defense, you have to be part of the system. You have to buy into it. And if we all do our role, then they can't score basically. Right. But he still plays an attacking style. Like he likes fast movement and stuff. So, but that's what Celtic fans love, right? That kind of play, because it's very honest kind of style of playing football. You know what I mean? Just work hard and pass it quick, right?
Yeah.
So he's been, wherever he goes, he applies the same system. He uses the players that he has in that particular club where he's at, and he fits them into roles. He's been known for playing a player out of position, you think, and they're like, oh, why is he playing him there? And then all of a sudden that guy becomes a really good player in that position. It's because he can identify the certain qualities in a player. So he's really good. But these pommy twats are just like, oh, I've never heard of him, so he must be shit. And he comes over there and wins the comp in his first fucking year. And he actually brought over a bunch of Japanese players.
Japanese players, they were fucking criticizing.
They were fucking destroying them.
He's bringing over another Japanese player, and they were all fucking weapons and played right into his system. Once again, I don't know much about football, but I researched enough about that I was like, he seems to know what he's doing. He's like, I know these 4 players from Japan can do exactly what I need them to do in this particular role, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
And they were just fucking like, what the fuck's he doing? Bringing in these Japanese players? Like, they can't play in this system. They can play in this league. And lo and behold, they played pretty well in that league.
Yeah. I mean, what a fucking amazing job. Like, that should be a great, another nice Gary to
Nice, Gary!
because that's a great fucking story. And it's not just because I'm a Celtic fan, Greeno, but like it is a good story. Like the fact this unknown guy for them walked in there and won the championship in his first season.
Very much a nice story for Ange. But I want to give you a dick move if we can, sir.
You dick!
Because often on this show, if we think about it, I've often been criticised in segment 3 for apparently talking too much about baseball. Because you're like,
but you do it every week. I do it once a year.
No one gives a fuck about baseball, Greeno. You fucking waffle on about the fucking baseball stats at the arse in the show, and no one's fucking
not fair at all.
And even though all our listeners are from America, and I'm talking about a sport that happens to be played in America, admittedly, American listeners don't give a fuck because they're more into football. I'll pay that. But then we've just spent the first 20 minutes of segment 1 talking about Scottish football.
Yes, nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary!
That's right up there. That's right up there with the episode after episode we used to do about domestic cricket, Greeno.
Domestic cricket, correct.
Yeah.
That is fucking up there. And I love it, though. Yeah. Like, it's a dick move, but in a good way.
You
Because I'm like,
dick!
we
Nice,
literally
Gary!
alienated all our listeners for the first 20.
Yep.
For our own gratification, to discuss something that you felt like you needed to discuss. I was happy to discuss because I know you're a Celtic fan. And I'm like, that's a fucking big thing. We've got a proud Aussie boy doing something that he wasn't expected to do, kicking some ass, and fucking that's all very good. But I had to talk about the hypocrisy whenever I talk about baseball, and you criticise me. You're like, no one gives a fuck, Greeno.
Yeah, but you see, Greeno, the truth is revealed in your own statement because you said the hypocrisy whenever I talk about baseball, and yes, you talk about baseball literally every fucking show.
Nice,
Now, I would like you to please just go back in the archive and pull out the last time I spoke about Scottish football.
Correct. Nah, spot on, and that's why I let it slide. I let the whole segment ride because I'm like, I never let my boy talk about Scottish football, and fucking his team won this week, so happy days. But I still want to give you a dick.
Nice, Gary!
You dick!
All right, what are we doing now? Let's do the fucking actual show. That's enough pre-show, by the way.
That's pre-show. It's good, though. We've got 24 minutes of pre-show out of the way. We're warmed up now. We talked a bit of Ange, and we're all good. Damo, let's get to the election. We've got one more day of this shit show. Worst election in history, I guarantee.
Dumbest. Not the worst. The worst was the one with John Hewson and Paul Keating. That was the worst election.
But at least there was people there that you wanted to fucking vote for.
No. That was the worst election in terms of just the way it unfolded and stuff. Like John Hewson should never have lost that election, but he lost it. He lost it because of the question about the GST with the fucking birthday cake, right?
Yeah, the birthday cake. What do you mean? What do you mean? You can't tell me how much GST will pay a birthday cake. Just fucking say 10% and move on, John. Yeah. Right? Fucking don't worry about it.
But Paul Keating came up. It wasn't so much what John Hewson did. It was what Paul Keating's response to that was. And Paul Keating came up with this. Paul Keating had a fucking ability. I disagree with the man politically, but politically I think he's a genius, if that makes sense.
He's very good.
Oh, he was so good at attacking people. But if you're an American and you want to see like an entertaining Australian politician from back in the day, like in the 90s, look up Paul Keating in the 90s and look at some of his rants that he used to do in Parliament. He was the best. He was the Trump of the early 90s, Greeno, in terms of like throwing insults and stuff. So he was really good. So anyway, like John Hewson couldn't answer this fucking question about how much tax will there be in a cake if there's a GST and stuff. And Paul Keating's response was, if you don't understand it, don't vote for it. And that's all it took. That one line crystallized the whole election and he romped home. He walked in. If you don't understand it, don't vote for it because Hewson couldn't explain it himself. It was an easy sell. So that's why Keating was a genius.
Yeah. Very, very good. If we're going to talk about someone who can't explain much, let's look at a situation where this election, a lot of it has been focused from the opposition on the fact of, the PM has said, nah, it's not my job. Everything that seems to pop across his table, you always got that bloke at work, right? Where no matter what you send him, he's like, man, I'm going to ship that off to another department. I don't think that's my responsibility. That's not my responsibility. Nah, mate, that's not mine. And then you look at
they're the types of guys, Greeno, that you can like send to them and say, hey, this is like directly in your department. Like this is your responsibility to handle. And I'll just be like, oh, thanks for taking care of that, mate. And you're like, no, you're not actually answering what I'm saying. Like you're not acknowledging that you need to take over this thing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they'll just keep going like, oh yeah, let me know when this. And it's like, no, I'm not letting you know. You're like, I'm not your secretary kind of thing. You need to grab this now. This is your baby, right? And they're like, no, fuck the baby. And they take off Mad Max style down the highway, Greeno.
That's it. Yeah, no, I've left it on Jim's desk. Jim will take care of it.
Jim will take care of everything. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll speak to Jim. Yeah. That's what our PM's done for the better part of 3 years. Yeah. And look, so you think during the campaign, he's like, look, we're going to, because he said last week, this is going to have to be a new ScoMo. He's like, I understand.
Isn't leaving it to the last week a little late for the new ScoMo? Because remember,
it's a tad late.
Do you remember they did the new they tried this already, Greeno? Politicians are the new Julia. Remember a week before she got her ass handed to her in an election. It was like, hey, meet the new Julia. Don't worry, that Julia that has been polling terribly for the last 2 months, that's in the past, man. Forget about that. Yeah, now we got the new Julia. And remember, it was puppies and babies, but with knitting. Remember they started taking photos of her like she was Australia's grandma all of a sudden? It was really weird and creepy. They would put like big blankets over her in front of a fireplace. It's like, hang on a minute. Last week, she was the empowered feminist in a fucking business suit. And now she's in a rocking chair knitting in front of a fireplace. What the hell is this?
Polls better. That's how it works.
Polls better.
So you'd think this brand new ScoMo for the final week of the election is going to be like, look, everything in the past has been not my job. Nah, not my problem. Nah, someone else's problem. Nah, someone else meant to do that. Yeah. This is now the time for him to go, yeah, mate, I'm going to take care of that.
Greeno, great comment in the chat from Kimmy who says, who's the dude with the Dumb and Dumber haircut in the back? And that's a nice Gary, because I was also going to point out the bold framed glasses here on this chap. Like he looks, Greeno, look at him. He looks fucking terrified to be. Look at him.
He's like, don't fuck up. I got to smile and nod at every second. That's my job, right? Nod and smile, nod and smile, nod and smile. Let me know when I got a nod and smile. I don't want to fuck it up. So they were asking, what were they asking? I fucking can't even remember. Oh, they were asking about who would have the pandemic treaty, what they think about the pandemic treaty, and whether the World Health Organization.
There's a treaty, is there? A pandemic treaty? What's the pandemic treaty?
Should have powers and authorities to dictate over countries. So this is ScoMo's fucking time, right? You got to put your hand out and go, no. We're going to trust our health experts. We're going to make sure that we take care of it in a safe way that we feel is appropriate for the Australian people. Yeah. This is my job right now.
Yeah.
As the leader of this country, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to run with it. Let's see what the PM and possible continuing PM has to say.
All right. Well, let me just add this little bit on top, Greeno. All right. Let's say that you wanted to market yourself as the guys who are like, you know what? We need to. How about this, Greeno? We need to stand up for our fellow Australians. We need to stand up for the people out there in the trenches, the workers, the office workers, the proud feminists. We need to stand up for everyone here in Australia, because in Australia, we're on the same team. All right, you're picturing something like that, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, so we're all for Australia. We love Australia. We want, you know what?
One, we are merry.
Yeah, we are one, we are merry. We're all of that shit. And you know what I think most people want, Greeno, is self-determination.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We just want to be able to make our own fucking decisions. And I think that's a universal. You know what I mean?
Be in control of our own destiny, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Like, we all want that. Like, you know, our Aboriginal brothers and sisters, Greeno, their argument has been self-determination. Let us do the shit we want to do. Leave us alone. Don't fuck with us, and we won't fuck with you. And it's like, you know what? I fucking respect that. Nice, Gary. I'm happy for you.
Got $1 cars.
Yeah, we've got $1 cars. Exactly. So, you know, we all appreciate the virtues of self-determination. So here is the current Australian Prime Minister, who is also happens to be a Conservative, by the way, just in case you didn't know. He apparently talks about being a Conservative. And, you know, obviously big nationalist, Greeno, Australia first. We love Australia. We're going to put our nation's interests first. and then you go and do something like this.
It's on May 22, and on the agenda is a potential pandemic treaty which would allow the WHO to direct countries in how they control pandemics. Would you consider signing up to that and handing over any controls to the organisation?
I have always been supportive right from the outset and was criticised heavily, I stress, heavily, mocked in fact by the Labor Party for saying the WHO should have those powers and those authorities.
Hang on, you missed it, Greeno. You missed it. Greeno, you missed it. Hang on. You have to hear the last 15 seconds of this. I'm sorry, please.
No, I heard it heavily, criticised heavily.
No. Wait, one more time. Let's roll it through. Hang on.
Mocked in fact by the Labor Party for saying
all right. Right about here.
Criticised heavily, I stress, heavily, mocked in fact by the Labor Party for saying the WHO should have those powers and those authorities to be able to go and deal with pandemic situations, because we all know what happened at the start of this pandemic.
Nice, Gary!
He was the Prime Minister at the start of this pandemic.
No. God. I love the thing that's so sweet about this is, right, the reason that Scott Morrison is going to lose the election tomorrow, Greeno.
I don't think he does. I don't think he is.
I think he is.
I think he's corrupt, and I put dollars on it.
The corruption stuff I don't really buy into. I
think there's enough fucking bought votes that he's going to find a way to sneak over the line.
No. Because the things like I understand where you're getting that from, but the thing is, there's like a 20% of Scott Morrison's voters, right, who are really against like hard COVID laws and quarantine camps and fucking QR codes and all of that shit. So they're going to quietly, because these are the people who don't answer polls. These are the people who don't tell you who they vote for. You know what I mean?
Australians that he's hoping to vote.
But it's like a 20% of his voter base. They are all going to vote for third-party options this election because of just how terrible they've been during COVID. That's why he's going to lose. You know what I mean? Like, so when he does shit like this is a prime example, I think, like, to represent those people's views, to step in their shoes just for a moment, Greeno. Here he is, like, kind of, he thinks it's a point to boast about, that he's willing to hand over jurisdiction over Australian laws and fucking protocols and health regulations and stuff to this international body to decide for us. And he's like, well, actually, I was talking about handing over our powers fucking 2 years ago, and and he's so fucking shit at this. He thinks that's a good thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing as well. It becomes, because I've seen this happen with work colleagues. It's just not my responsibility. So I'm like, well, if I hand over the power to someone else, then it's not my problem, because if they make a bad decision, I'm like, well, fucking the World Health Organization chose that, not my issue. Yep. So it's all about potential like blame deflecting more than anything else, but it might come back to bite him. That's one aspect. Now the PM, don't get me wrong.
Well, just one more thing, Greeno. It definitely is about blame deflecting, and they've been doing it since the start. I remember doing shows, a year and a half ago, Greeno, where we would watch press conferences from these fucking politicians, and the politician would be asked, so what's the regulation about this in regards to COVID? And they would say, oh, look, what we're doing is listening to the health experts. And it's like, no, hang on. You're the guys making the rules, though.
Yeah,
like, so
you might want to give us the answers if you're going to make the rules based
fucking
on
right.
the health expert. Yeah.
Like, you can't outsource that to the fucking unelected health experts. We didn't elect them to make rules. You're the one. You need to answer for the rules that you're making. Fuck you. And then they would go, oh, look, no, this is a law enforcement issue. And so you'd then go to the police and say, can you tell us about this fucking law then? And they'd go, no, we don't write the laws, mate. We just enforce them. And it's like, well, who's writing the law then? And you go back to the politician, and the politician will say, oh, no, we're taking advice from the medical experts. So, are the medical experts writing the law? No, that's the politicians. Oh, so it's your fault. No, we need to go to the police. This is a policing issue. It was this fucking merry-go-round that never ends.
This is a discussion literally I had with a bunch of people throughout the course of the week. Magically, the politicians are ignoring the health advice as soon as the election happened. Yeah. So I don't know. For American listeners, what happened is we had certain restrictions in Australia And then what happened about 6 weeks ago when the election was announced? Oh, in the lead up, because you can't just fucking magically take them away.
No.
So about 12 weeks ago, they started like loosening restrictions. And then as soon as the elections were announced, then pretty much all restrictions were gone.
Yep.
And then the polling numbers weren't good. So then magically, like, there was just no rules anymore.
Yep.
So
Nice.
didn't matter. Like,
Nice,
you could
Gary.
literally have caught the Rona, could be coughing in someone's face, and you're like, nah, you don't need to isolate. You're sweet. Like, you're all good to go
Yeah.
because we need you to fucking vote on 22nd May.
Whereas 6 weeks ago, they would have thrown you in fucking prison.
We had fucking army people flying over the western suburbs.
Knocking on
of New
your
South
door
Wales.
saying, have you checked in yet with your QR
Yeah.
code?
I was badgered by fucking Karens everywhere I went. To fucking check in and do this and sign in and show back passports.
Yeah.
But now the election, suddenly I can fucking
Who gives
rock
a
up
fuck?
on people with my dick out, and it's all good. The
It was
dick
so
out
funny,
might not have to
Greeno.
do with Rona, but fucking they let that slide too. That's how shit works now. It's election fever,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter.
Greeno, I went to early voting. This is a quick little story time.
I like
very
stories
quick
about
story time.
pinatas.
And we've actually got a stack show tonight, so we need to really start getting moving
I
through
know
some
we're
of these
fucking way
fucking
behind, but we're
items.
gonna smash through this fucking election shit. All right.
Through this election shit. So I actually went to early vote, Greeno. First time I've ever done it. I've always been a show up on the day guy. You know, for
get in
every
early,
election. Well, it's the first time I've done it, and I was a good little citizen. I looked it up on the internet, and I wasn't inspired to vote. But it was the day after I'd paid off a fine for not voting in the previous election. And I was kind of like, you know what? All right,
Well,
I'll
keep
take
that
a
cash in
10-minute
pocket.
drive.
Yeah.
All right.
Isn't it across the road from your house, mate? Isn't the school across the road?
No. Yeah, but that's only on election day. So that's not a pre. How can it be a pre-polling if the kids are in there? You imagine like just random men walking into the fucking kindergarten. Hey, how you going? I'm here to vote for the fucking socialist, mate.
Okay,
Let's go.
give me a fucking dick move. Fucking, I'm sitting here.
Dick.
Why the fuck do I have to go all the way over here to this pre-poll? Thinking, like, shouldn't be there. I didn't even think about the fucking kiddies and the fact that, could have been in school. Anyway,
In school. So I went to this pre-polling place. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get this shit out of the way. I've already, and you know what? If you've listened to my show at any point over the last 3 years, you'd probably get a good idea of who I'm voting for. So I don't have to tell you. Okay. And it's probably not this guy, but it's definitely not the other guy either, if that makes sense. So if you can figure that out, nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
So I'm there, and Greeno, the pamphlet guys. There's pamphlet guys at the pre-polling places as well.
mate,
like
we've
in the
talked about the
early-
pamphlet guy for years.
Yeah, right.
Fucking, I thought I had to get out of my way.
Well, they're there though, so you would think at early voting, it's like, well, these guys are now taking days off work to volunteer because
They
they're
don't
there
have
on a
fucking
weekday.
job, mate. They're getting paid off by the government. They're on JobKeeper.
They're on
all good.
JobKeeper allowances. So they're just so they're there, and they hand out their pamphlets when you walk in. Now the strangest thing, was taking place where the people out the front who have the pamphlets, who shake hands with everyone and hand them pamphlets, and they're very, very contacty. There was no mask action there. Okay, it was a lot of
No
smiles
masks.
and talking. But then when you go inside the voting
Mask
area,
up.
but the workers are very much solo. They're sitting behind desks. They're not mixing with anyone. You have to be a certain distance away from them. They're all wearing masks, you see.
There's logic to that though, because you're talking about the difference between an internal and external environment. Like I wear a mask when I drop my kid off at daycare, but as soon as I'm outside of the internal environment, mask is off.
No. I think no, Greeno, you're missing a vital part, is that we've always been told that the main transmitter of COVID is close contacts, and it's
Fucking need to cancel the election, sir.
yeah. So it's not necessarily like the vicinity. It doesn't really matter if it's inside or outside, but it's how many people you come across that day. That's the main spreader of COVID.
We need to extend this election.
And I put
We
it
need
to
make every
you,
year.
the people handing out pamphlets have a much more direct interaction with far more people than the people who sit inside the room typing shit on the checking people off on the voter roll. You
And
know
much
what I mean?
much more unnecessary. Those people out the front,
Yeah.
they can fuck off and fuck off now.
So if anyone's spreading COVID, it's them, right? So
Germany, that's
therefore, I postulate to you that they should be wearing the masks. If anyone's going to be wearing them, it should be them. You know?
Can we just get rid of them? Like,
Just get rid of them.
they're doing everyone a disservice by being there, quite frankly. They're annoying, they're at the front. I saw a quick story time, if I may.
I like stories about pinatas.
/ dick move.
Mm.
So,
Dick!
the pre-polling place is literally right next to my kid's daycare.
Okay.
And what I noticed is, as I was dropping my kid off, there was a United, what's the fucking Palmer party called? Whatever that one is, Palmer's
The
one.
CUP? Is it the club? Is it the Palmer United Party? Is that it? Or
Maybe
Australia United or something? I don't know. His ads are all over Australian YouTube.
They're all
all
over.
the time.
Don't know. But whoever they are, the fucking yellow shirt dickheads. So anyway, this
Yellow
yellow shirt
shirts.
dickhead had noticed that one of the other dickheads handing out pamphlets, had parked in a no parking zone out the front of my kid's daycare.
No.
So decided to take a picture to then send to the police. So I watched this dickhead. I was tempted to rock up and just spit on him, just out of fucking principle. And I'm like, you're all being douchebags handing out these pamphlets. Fucking get away from everyone. The dudes just happen to be parked there. Let's just fucking move on. Don't try and get someone a fine. Dick move.
Dick move. Okay. I've got a story for you.
I like stories about pinatas.
Now,
This is fucking meant to be a short segment.
I know.
But
Now, now I can give you a story. My relationship with the pamphlet people is a little bit different from me. Like, I don't engage with them, but they don't enrage me like they enrage you. You know, like you hate them. Whereas I'm kind of like, it's cool, man. I got this. You know, just leave me alone, kind of thing. But Greeno really dislikes them. But anyway, when I was walking in to vote the other day,
I just hate social interaction, sir.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, there was 2 pamphlet people, okay? Now, the pamphlet hander-outerer for the Labor Party was, an obviously morbidly obese young man who was probably 22, and he kind of had that, like...
Unemployed.
You know that 16-year-old beard that's very fluffy and wispy?
Wispy. There's a lot of neck action.
Yeah, it grows heavier in certain parts of the face than it does the rest.
Blotchy.
Yeah.
He's just dude, just get that looked at.
That's
like,
right.
I feel like there's some like beard alopecia happening.
Yeah, it's like it's like he's never shaved before, and it's just kind of thrown in. Yeah,
just a patchy pube, if you will.
Yeah. So that was that guy, right? Now that was the Labor Party guy, and he kind of had like big fucking bitch tits, you know, like, and they were pushing through the red shirt of the Labor Party.
Yeah.
And when he came up to me, right?
Was it a cold day? Was there stiff nipples in the bitch tits?
It wasn't a cold day. No, I was in a t-shirt, I think, and t-shirt and shorts. You know, it was casual. I reckon it was like a good kind of 25, 26 in the sun. It was a nice, pleasant.
So now I'm imagining sweaty upper arm for this poor Labor.
Yeah, no, it was sunny and it was pleasant on the skin, but not enough to perspirate. If that makes sense.
But he would have perspirated, I guarantee it.
Well, he might have. He probably does wherever he goes.
Sweat, I guarantee it.
Yeah, imagine how moldy the anus would be in a ski resort.
Oh, no good. Yeah.
Nice, Gary. So that was the Labor Party guy, and he tried to. And when he tried to hand me the pamphlet, he had like a Chief Wiggum kind of, it's like, here, take a pamphlet. I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. And then I came up to the Liberal Party guy, Greeno, and the Liberal Party guy was a guy, I'm going to say, like, his heritage was definitely subcontinental. So I'm thinking like Sri Lanka, India, you know, because we had Sri Lankan mates growing up, you and me, Greeno.
Yeah.
So we kind of know the look, you know. So he looked like a Sri Lanka, South India kind of guy. And he was very suave, and this is the Liberal Party guy, and he came up to me, and he kind of like did like a little kind of Michael Jackson. I swear to God, man, he did like this kind of like little Michael Jackson kind of slide move in front of me, like right in front of me when I was walking. And he's like, "Hey, man, do you want to take one of these?" And I cut him off, and I'm like, "No, I've got this, man. Thanks, all good." And I like put my hand up, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's right. I know you're voting for us anyway. Have a good one, man." And I was like, "Fucking, you know what?" Hats off to the Liberal Party guy was the cool guy. The Labor Party guy was the obese fucking mouth breather, you know?
And it's very important. If you're going to hand out pamphlets, make sure, like, once again, we need to get some like hot chicks in there.
Yep.
Hand out the pamphlets. That's the least you get the vote.
And you've got to get I reckon what it is, Granny, you got to treat it like sport. When you're allocating your volunteers to political booths, Greeno, if I'm running this, I'm looking at matchups, Greeno. And if I see the obese neckbeard fucking mouth breather Labor Party guy,
that way.
I am going to throw in my suave, smooth talking Michael Jackson moving like Sri Lankan little fucking used car salesman. I'm going to match him up against him. And it's like, because, the Labor Party have signs everywhere. It's like, oh, they're all racist and shit. And it's like, oh, okay, but here's this little suave Sri Lankan guy going, you know what, man, it's okay. I know you're voting for us. It's all good. I'll see you later. I'll see you on the way out. Here's a candy,
Nice, Gary!
That's the guy you want to match up with.
I like it. Yeah. No, 100% right. And I think for you got to go the opposite of the ladies. Yeah. You want the magic mic there.
Magic mic. That's right. Now,
preferences. Well, let's fucking skip 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. Let's get to Greeno Does Politics Week 4. So,
okay, we're skipping all of those segments. That's not fair.
We're going for fucking 35 minutes, mate.
We can do whatever we want, though. That's okay.
Can we
just
need to be fresh for tomorrow?
Yeah, I know. But all right, you do this, but then we have to do the "We're Saving the Earth" guy because that's fucking hilarious. What's that candidate who's standing in the water and he's like,
okay,
we have to do that. It's so fucking funny.
So, okay, let's go back to number 2 now. So this week, the big PM announcement is like, look, we understand people can't afford houses. Here's our theory. If we let people take money out of their pensions, their superannuation, we might be able to fucking buy some houses for people. Not thinking about the fact that if more people are in the market, then the house prices might go up, which means the people that just took $50,000 out of their fucking retirement funds might still not be able to afford the house. So they're like, look, we need to fucking come up with a plan to this because this is not looking good. Let's think of getting someone in front of the camera to support the PM's plan. Yeah. We need to get someone out there. So who am I thinking, Dave? I'm thinking maybe a young family. I'm thinking like almost a puppies and the babies, if you will. I need a mama. I need a papa. I need a little kitty who's like, I want to play in the backyard. I'm now stuck in a 1-bedroom flat. Blah, 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 blah.
I'm thinking Chad Chaddington, Greeno. Chad Chaddington.
What the PM has thought, he goes, let's get a fucking real estate agent in here.
Yep.
They're going to talk about how good our plan is to help support those people that can't get into the real estate market. What better person to do that than the person who's going to take a 10% commission on your fucking real estate? This is the
capitalism, Greeno. It's a beautiful thing.
Fucking genius. And the PM in the background, fucking very happy with his selection of Chad Chaddington there. There's a lot of gel in that hair. Yeah. That's a very slick back fucking hair.
But that goes to show you, I would rather vote for Chad Chaddington for Prime Minister because the current Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, is just kind of there basking in his glory, In
the glory. He's sitting there going, I wish I could take 10%.
Whereas this young Chad is like, you know what? I sell houses to millionaires. What do you do for the economy? He's got his thing. He knows what he's doing. I would definitely vote for this guy. Nice
Gary.
So we've gone from Chad Chaddington. Now we're going to save the planet, Damo. Let's have a look at this dude. Because this is like for our American listeners and viewers.
This is so good.
This is so
You're
good.
Gonna love this.
Hi, I'm Victor Klein.
Sorry, Green. I was just getting it set up.
All right, get it set up. Hit play, and I'm going to go grab a beer. I'll be back in 12 seconds.
All right, he'll be back in 12 seconds.
Hi, I'm Victor Klein. I'm leader of TNL. We have a policy for net zero emissions by 2030 to stop the rising waters. If we
At what point do you need to get her out of the water? Like, obviously, the fucking water's going up, eh? Like, fucking hop out, dickhead.
If you're listening to the podcast, let me describe this for you, right? He's making a point about the water levels rising, and he's in like a full kind of business suit. And as the ad goes on,
coming in.
As the tide is coming in, he keeps getting deeper and deeper in the water. Now, Greeno, I think I know what's going on here, and I'll give you a quick little one of these.
I like stories about pinatas.
And I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. We've known some artistic people. We used to play in a band and stuff back in the day. So we've always kind of been around artistic people who were doing artistic things.
Yeah.
I do wonder if, this might be a case of like the cameraman and the team that this guy has hired, okay, to do his stuff, saying, no, just walk deeper out into the water.
Yeah.
And like they're dry and they're, moving a thing around and filming him. It's like, no, just go a little deeper. Okay.
A couple steps back.
Yeah.
3. A bit deeper.
That's
Bit
right.
deeper, David. Keep going.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, okay, that's a great idea. And then they're probably sitting around with their other fucking video buddies saying, do you believe what this fucking idiot? I swear to God. I think that's what's going on here. Yeah.
I reckon we can make it all the way back. He'll literally go on the ground. And he won't even know. We're like, I can go, David.
Let's have a look.
Stop the rising waters. If we wait another 20 or 30 years like Liberal, Labor and the
And now he's
Independent
about waist deep.
we'll be in deep water. So if
Now
you
chest deep.
care about real action on climate change,
Real action, Greeno.
one,
He's actually
Klein.
treading water there a bit. There you go.
He's treading water. He's
Vote
he's
Klein for
Vote Klein.
Klein.
So obviously Klein.
Nice,
Fucking,
Gary.
if I'm going to the polls, Dame, I'm thinking, fucking this Klein dude.
Yeah.
He's all about the climate.
Yeah.
Klein for climate.
Just think,
He's there.
Greeno, just think K word. Okay.
Hayward. I'm sitting there going, this dude, he's obviously doing his compost bin properly.
Yeah.
He's probably doing a lot of recycling.
Yeah.
He's taking his bottles down to the local plant.
Yeah.
This dude is fucking, he's been fucking balls deep in water. He's been shin deep in water, for Christ's sake. This fucking guy is all about the climate.
He's
So how
also
do we-
on the
how do we
side.
campaign?
He's also on the side of a truck.
Nice,
A massive
Gary.
truck.
Yep. So, yep, we love the climate so much. We care so much about the climate that we're willing to ruin a perfectly good cheap suit, mind you.
Yeah.
A perfectly good, I reckon that was a $99 job off the shelf. Do you remember that place in Mount Druitt, Greeno, that used to sell suits for $99?
I do. That's how I got my formal suit.
Nice,
That's what I
Gary.
got
That's
for.
scary. I got one out of there once too. I got one out of there for like some wedding. It was a wedding I didn't care about and I didn't want to go to. And I'm like, you know what? I better get a suit for it. And it's like, well, I'm not going to spend any real money on it because I don't care about these people anyway. So went to the $99 suit shop. I was actually heartbroken, Green. I went back there like 10 years ago. It's gone. Doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, I guess selling $99 suits didn't work in Mount Druitt
No,
anymore.
it's profitable. Yeah, expensive.
No, I think it went the other way. I think, more rich people started moving into Mount Druitt and then all of a sudden they couldn't sell any $99 fucking suits anymore, The clientele changed.
Yeah. They were good. Interesting dynamic. Now, in Victor Klein's defense, I think the ad on the side of maybe a yacht out in the water might not have worked as effectively. To be fair to Victor. All right, so it seems to be that maybe we need to focus on
Put him on the side of the Opera House.
Opera House, maybe Alan Jones style.
Yes,
He'll
exactly.
find a way. So it seems as though, like, maybe the environment is something that fucking is important to voters. And I saw this throughout the course of the week. It said multiple polls have shown that climate change is the #1 issue for voters this election. We haven't seen any journalists question the government why the Minister for Emissions Reduction has completely been absent during the campaign.
Okay.
Now,
Can I just say, Greeno, that this young poster says, I haven't seen any journalists question the government on why the Minister for Emissions Reduction has been completely absent during the campaign. And it's like, yes, but I would say I haven't seen anyone question why there is a Minister for Emissions Reduction.
Correct. That's definitely point number one. My other thought was, realistically, polls are wrong because I guarantee if we everyone I've spoken to talking about this election, mainly you, that's about it. That's it. That's all.
It's not a wide sample, Greeno. It's not.
And on this show, but sample size 1 from 1 says
100%. 100% agree.
that is not the #1 issue. Realistically, if we gave people the choice, go on, look, we can give you cheaper interest rates, we can reduce taxes, we can do fucking 45 other things that I can think off the top of my head. I'm not going to waste time on the show for.
Yeah. Why not? We've been on for like 49 and a half minutes already.
I know, it's ridiculous.
We've wasted so much time on the show. We haven't done anything yet.
No, I haven't gone there yet. Yeah. But I guarantee not one of those people are going to go, fucking the environment. We need to take care of the environment as #1. Like, there's no one who, if the people that went to the polls, did anyone yell at the pollsters handing out the fucking wasted paper? No one did.
There would be people who would vote purely for the environment, but there would also be people who don't care about anything else.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Polls are wrong. Now it's time for Greeno to do politics before we get to a break.
I like stories about pinatas.
So we've talked about on this show, it's my turn to do politics. We let you take a back seat. You like to do the American politics. You also like to do the Australian politics. But this year you said,
like the European politics too, Greeno. I think Germany's in for a world of hurt this year, incidentally. Yeah.
But you did say to me, like, Greeno, this year I'm going to give the election over to you. And I'm like, look, mate, I'm going to take the reins and fucking run with it in the show. So last week I taught people about how you have to order numbers on the poll and when you do a vote. We've also talked about in
how to fill out a ballot paper.
How to fill out a ballot paper, correct.
Yeah.
So,
we've covered a lot of ground, obviously, here on the with you taking the fucking driver's seat of the political segment. Which, incidentally, when I was doing it, it was about 35 seconds. Now that Greeno's doing it, we're now spending an hour on it today.
An hour on it because Greeno's doing some funny shit. So, so I also like in the fact that I don't understand that this is effectively a job interview, correct? We're doing a job interview.
They'll still have jobs. Even if they lose, they still have jobs.
But this is what a vote should be, right? It should be a job interview. And like I pointed out in week 1, I'm like, you can't rock up to a job interview and go, the other bloke's shit cunt. Because you have to fucking answer questions. You can't just go, hey, tell us about a time when you've done X, Y, and Z. And they're like, other bloke's shit cunt. Like, that's what this election has been. So I'm like, this isn't fair. So I've likened it to a job interview. Now, here's what I proposed, Amo.
Okay.
Greeno, I know nothing about politics. Yep. You know nothing about business.
Yes.
Between us, we're going to fix it.
We're going to fix this shit.
So I want to propose what I refer to as democracy 2.0.
Okay. A reimagining of democracy.
I'm going to reimagine because democracy, it doesn't work, Amo. It's not going to work. Yeah. Because at the
democracy has failed us all. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Yes. So as we pointed out last week, the Bobcat Goldthwait joke, it's like going into an adult bookstore and picking the least painful dildo. We don't want that anymore. So what we're going to do is I've done job interviews before. I've been a manager for a number of years. And what happens is I get a selection of candidates and they send their application.
The scouts send in the fucking scouting reports and it's up to you. It's like, you're the GM. It's like, all right, I'm going to sit down with this kid and see what he's about, whether I like him or not. Yeah.
So here's what happens, right? So I've had situations before where I've got 50 different applications and resumes in. So myself and my colleagues and my bosses, we read the resumes and we go, look, we're going to narrow it down to say 10. We're happy with these 10 resumes. The other 40 are shit. Okay, we're now down to the 10. This is what the election is at on the green sheet. Everyone else can go on the white sheet, the 50 people. But at the same time, the green sheet, we're going to narrow it down to the 10, in this case, 6.
So the white sheet is if all of your greens don't pull through. And so then we go to the round tours.
We go to the round table. So basically, I go to job interviews and I interview these people. At this point in the election, I've decided that all the candidates are unsuitable.
Nice, Gary.
So if I'm an employer, which is what my job is as an Australian citizen, I think as an employer, what I have done in the past, I've gone, nah, mate, not happy with any of these. And I've gone back to the recruiter and gone, we don't want it. We don't want any of these people. Let's try again. Let's send some more resumes. So what I'm proposing is a third option on your ballot. So you can go, I'm going to vote for person 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or re-election. Now, what happens in this one, in Democracy 2.0, Greeno's version, is like a real workplace environment. Because we have no choice but to pick people out of this fucking stupid resume pool, right?
Yes.
Now, at my job, if I get a shit resume pool, I have a bunch of interviews and everyone's like, other bloke's a shit cunt, other bloke's a shit cunt, this guy's a shit cunt, this guy's a shit cunt, fucking hole in my bucket, fucking, I don't want any of those people, right? So I go, nah, I'd rather just not employ someone right now. Let's get some better candidates in. I'm proposing Democracy 2.0 is if at an election, if the majority picks not happy with any of these candidates, those fuckers can't get elected, can't put their name in the pool again. Their resumes are gone like a real work environment, shredded, and we need a new pool of candidates.
And we're just in a perpetual election then for the next.
No. Well, hear me out. Because I think that would then require people to actually put some effort in to be a politician. Because it's actually it's applying for a job. Correct me if I'm wrong.
All right. Well, I'm going to correct you.
I like stories about pinatas.
Because I do love. Well, yeah, you said correct me if I'm wrong, so allow me. Allow me to. So yeah, I love your enthusiasm. Look, this is your first election, and I'm very proud of you. Now you've done a lot of research, and I love your enthusiasm. I love your enthusiasm, and I love the energy that you've brought to the political segment. I really do.
Yeah.
Now, I would just say to you that your analogy is fundamentally flawed and incorrect, because you put it as the job interview. Okay. Now I let you speak. Now you let me speak, Greeno. Now you put it as a job.
And 3 words, mate. You find it annoying when I talk over the top of you, isn't it? Is that frustrating?
Now you suggest it's a job interview. He's such a prick. You suggest it's a job interview, okay? Just trying to sandbag me at every opportunity, at any cost.
Continue, sir.
Trying to break my momentum, break my stride. So
never gonna hold me down. Oh no! He's got to keep on moving.
Oh. So you suggest it's a job interview, my friend, but I say that opinion is fundamentally flawed, and here's why. You do essentially, through the payment of your taxes, work for the government. So it's not really a job interview, because if you scrub the toilets of the building, you don't get to decide who the fucking CEO is, and that's why it's not a job interview.
Do you like your novelty comedy songs organic? Handmade with painstaking care, put into every note? Well, look no further than Irrational Times. Using only the finest instruments to create an experience that your ears will thank you for later, Irrational Times attempts to elevate the whimsy to a desirable level. New songs and sketches every week, so check it out.
There's a place that we can go to watch old things. All the warm, fuzzy member berries it brings. It's a special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Campy old movies and old cartoons. We hope to see you over there very soon. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. When we were kids and there wasn't any school, we'd sit and watch all the best cartoons, eating cereal until it was noon. We never thought that 30 years later it'd still be cool. Saturday night and cheesy movies, the ones that used to show us boobies. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy.
Now with less than 3% sport content. It's the starting block on TAVshow.com.
Yes, welcome back to the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Don't forget Elon Musk.
Nah, Elon's out. He's up on sexual assault charges now. Don't worry about Elon.
Yep.
He's in trouble. Poor old Elon. He's a little bit pissed off because he agreed to buy Twitter at like 54 cents per share, I think it was, and now it's down to 38, something like that.
Yeah, and just all of a sudden he got accused of exposing himself on a plane to one of his workers or something.
He was ordered to be be masseuse trained?
Well, I'm going to be brutally honest with you here. If I'm the richest man of the world, I would think, you know what? If it only cost me $250,000 to, you know, expose myself to somebody, then who cares? What's the difference? There's really no barrier. If you're the richest man in the world, you can do whatever you want. I'm not saying that he did it, but you know, that would also be $250,000 to this guy is like it's a drop in the bucket. It's nothing. So if someone's making noise, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, let's just say it could be, you could make a false allegation against him if you wanted to. He'd probably throw $200,000 at you just to shut the fuck up. You know, like that's the way rich people deal with stuff.
Move on. Yeah, throw some money at it.
Yeah. It might be true, it might not be, but it doesn't matter. But if you take the 200,000, then that kind of indicates to me, well, then it probably wasn't as traumatic as $200,000 can relieve, you know? So, nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary!
Who's the nice Gary in that story?
Yeah, Elon Musk.
No,
I like stories about pinatas.
You dick!
Yeah, now you can do your story time, sir.
Okay, are we doing a story?
I like stories about pinatas.
Oh, yeah, I've got a story time for you, Greeno. Yeah. So, look.
Actually, sorry, before you get to your story time.
I like stories about pinatas.
It's a story time of a story time from last week. Did you get
I like stories about pinatas.
The Foxtel box.
Oh, did I get rid of it?
Yeah, did you get the resolution? Did they finally come pick it up?
He finally came and picked it up. It was like the next week. And I just so happened, I was out the front having a cigarette or something, and he showed up at the time, and I'm like, oh, is this yours? And he's like, yeah. And I said, great. And I fucking kind of shoved it in his chest. And I'm like, all right, see you, mate. Off you go now. Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Thanks for coming and getting it. I've been babysitting this box for a week. So, yeah, okay.
A week and a half, 45 calls later.
That's right. Now, let's go back out of that story.
I like stories about pinatas.
Into the news story. So, you know me, Greeno, and my personal feelings about...
Is that story time soundbite to get out of the story?
I like stories about pinatas.
Okay.
I like stories about pinatas.
Now, I feel like now we close the story.
We close the story.
I like stories about pinatas.
Okay. Now, do we open it again, or...?
No, we just opened it. That's what I'm saying. I think we've now opened it.
Okay, so we're in the story now. Let's just do it one more time.
I like stories about pinatas.
Oh, shit. Before you get to your story, we've got to do Stefan's poll.
I like stories about pinatas.
Let's Stefan do the poll. Nah, can't find it.
Skip that.
I swear, Stefan had a poll and he fucking sent it to me, but I can't find it in the DMs.
It was the Wawa purr. So we've turned Stefan's poll into a skipping that, which is Stefan's favourite segment, by the way.
You tell your story time, and I'm going to find Stefan's poll.
I can't tell my story if you're not into it. That's not going to happen.
I'm keen to hear the story.
I don't think you are. You're going to be looking for Stefan's poll instead.
I found Stefan's poll. Okay. Excellent. Sorry, I need to... This used to be the opening.
You have to send it to me now, though, so I can show everybody else.
Well, here you go. I'm going to fucking send direct message. Here you go. There's Damo. I can send that. Send that. I'm not skipping that.
Sending that. Yeah.
Sending that is the new segment. We got fucking 10 votes.
10 votes. That's huge.
That's like 180% of our listenership. 10 votes.
You know what I say, Greeno? Vote early and vote often.
There's still 2 days left to vote, though. Yeah. It's Stefan's poll.
Have you voted more than once yet? What's wrong with you fucking pussy? Get out there. You should have a dozen to your name by now. They've been open all week.
That's it. Get in there, get amongst it. Get yourself a democracy sausage.
Yeah. Democracy belongs, Greeno, democracy belongs to those who care about it the most. And those who care about it the most clearly are the ones who vote most often. So good luck.
Exactly.
That's right.
Dig in. Double down.
Thank you.
We're doing story time. I forgot. Sorry, I got distracted. I just remember we hadn't done Stefan's poll. I swear there was a fucking poll from last week.
There was a poll. Yeah. I'm disappointed in the poll because my suggestion only got 20%, and looking at the numbers, that means that I was the only one who voted for it. So nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Because it was only 10 people, so it has to be.
No, 20%.
2 people. Okay, so 2 people voted for.
So unless you and the lovely Lady Bride voted as well.
Yeah.
I guarantee your lovely Bride doesn't come on Twitter very often. But I guarantee he does, and go,
or I just logged into her account and voted on her behalf.
God, hey, you need to log in for Wow Per.
Yeah. Meow Meow Wah was in there, Greeno. And who gives it? My personal favorite, after I voted, I saw this option, and it was who gives a fuck dead cat. And I thought, that's, you know what?
Gary!
That probably deserves to win. You know?
Funnily enough, even though it wasn't my suggestion, I voted for who gives a fuck dead cat. Yeah. So
it's good to have Stefan's poll back, isn't it? On the
and it is good to have Steph's poll back. We need to incorporate it more often, I think.
Yeah.
Good times. Well, it's still 2 days to vote, kids. So vote hard, vote often.
Vote early and vote often, Greeno. Nice, Gary.
Nice, sorry, Damo, story time.
Yeah, I've got a story time for you. So you know my personal stance, Greeno, on lawn maintenance, don't you?
Oh, see, I understand. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we discuss an issue recently with internal cleaners?
Yes. Yeah, but that was not this particular program. That was not this.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, personally, I thought you may be weary of external cleaning, cooking, yard work, external labor. I thought there may be some issues and maybe some trust issues when it came to that for your particular place.
I can see why you would make that mistake, and I don't begrudge you that. But there is a very small, subtle difference here. I don't like people in my house. If you're outside the house, you can be doing whatever the fuck you want out there. I don't care. Exactly.
Nice, Gary!
But if you're inside there, I don't want you inside. But I'll happily, because look, here's the thing. I hate doing yard work. Now, I do like doing little things like tending to a vegetable garden and stuff like that I can do. But, you know, when it comes to mowing lawns and stuff, I get really bad. It sounds like a super nerdy thing. I get really bad allergies. So whenever there's a lawnmower going and grass is spitting up, like my eyes go bright bloodshot red and swell up, and I sneeze a lot and cough. It's not very pleasant. So, you know, at the moment, though, you know, obviously I'm not going to do it. There's no other option. We've got to bring someone in. We've got to bring in one of the experts. Now, did you know, Greeno, that it's so difficult to get somebody to mow the lawn in this area that they're all booked up to like the end of next week? I had no idea. You know, I'm kind of calling around and looking for guys, and it's like, hey, you know, I called this guy a couple of years ago. He did it once, and I'm like, hey, no, I'm busy till next week. So
we are in the age of convenience now, sir.
Yeah.
Like you can literally ask anyone to do any job right now. You're like, look, can you come over and maybe, you know, clean my kitty litter? Yeah, mate, there's an app for that now.
Yeah.
I just log in, someone will come over, clean the kitty litter, fuck off, $50, thanks for coming, sir. So I understand, like, no one wants to do menial tasks around the house. For me, I find it a point of pride. I'm like, well, I feel like my father and their father before them and before them, I need to sit there and do these bullshit tasks that I really don't have time for.
I pity you.
I could very conveniently fucking pay someone $30 and be much more happier and have more spare time.
Yeah. Look, if it were up to me, I would just have concrete all around the house. I really don't care for lawn.
You're like me. Wog heritage, fucking wall-to-wall concrete.
Wall-to-wall concrete. And, you know, if I lived on like property or something, that's a different story because I'm buying the property for the grass, you know. Like
concrete.
I want
concrete, all of it. Yeah. 60 acres, concrete.
Nice, Gary!
There'll be pie in the sky when you go bye-bye, Greeno.
100%.
So I'm like, you know, I'm calling around and I check a couple of places out and it's like, you know what, can't do anything for you till next week. And I'm like, what am I going to fucking do here? And then I pull up this thing, Greeno, Airtasker. Never used Airtasker before. Have you heard about Airtasker?
My former boss used to do Airtasker. He'd go and mow old ladies' lawns.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's a specifically lawn mowing app. But basically what it is, it's
literally, like... you put up a bunch of tasks and go, I'm willing to do fucking X, Y, and Z. So if you're willing to like jerk off a fat dude, you fucking put it on Airtasker and they go, oh, fucking fat dude want to get jerked off? Excellent. Fucking I jump on there. Come on over. But
well,
you can
you know,
any task you want.
You know me, Greeno. When I try to hire someone for a job and like I'm paying you cash straight up, I always go for local guys. I like the local shops, the local guys. That's the way I roll. Like, let's give the local boys a job first before we go outside the area, And nobody couldn't get a bite off anyone. Couldn't give a fuck. Not interested. So I'm like, you know what? I've never used this Airtasker thing before. I'll just throw one up. And I thought, all right, here, I'll throw the task up and I'll throw something out there and I'll see what happens. 3 minutes later, Greeno, I get a reply. 3 fucking minutes.
Nice, Gary.
I like it.
And this guy, he's like, well, look, I've got all the gear. I'm ready to go. Let's roll. I'm local. I can do this. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. All right, you've got it. And there was a quick little to and fro. And next thing you know, he's accepted the job and I've accepted it. He was here within half an hour, Greeno.
Nice,
on the same day. On the same fucking day. Now, mind you, I couldn't get anyone here for a week.
So what was the job? So the job was just mowing your lawns?
Just front and back, yeah. Front and back, a bit of a whippersnip. Couldn't care less, really.
Now, my question is to you, sir. How much are we talking here?
Oh no, I don't want to throw a dollar figure out there because I was very I'm very generous when it comes to that kind of thing. Like,
because here's what I'm saying, mate. Like, let's just say, for argument's sake, let's say that figure is $60, right? Let's say it's 60.
It wasn't.
I know it wasn't 60, but let's say it was 60. I would have brought my mower over tomorrow and smashed out your yard in about 8 minutes.
This
your
guy
yard is not that big.
This guy took about 2.5 hours on the job.
Mate, I've seen your yard. I will smash that out with my fucking power mower in 8 minutes, and I would have charged you 60. I'm coming to your place anyway. It's fucking the petrol's all covered.
Yeah.
I $60.
No, I offered above odds because I was like, can you get this done in the next half a day? And someone was like,
2.5 hours to do your lawn. Fuck me, man.
No, but I got 5. He was here in half an hour after I couldn't get anyone to come for like 4 or 5 days.
But what was he doing for that long? Because your yard isn't that big.
No, I don't know. He was doing what he does. I don't care what he does. Just make sure
he
it's
just
done.
mowed the lawn and whippersnip, right?
Yeah, just a bit of that. So he comes
over.
They're
stealing shit out of your garage by the sounds of it.
There's nothing in there. There's nothing in there worth stealing.
The dogs are gone. No. There's fucking TV. The stereo's gone.
No, but let me tell you, I love this kid because this kid, like, he was like, within 5 minutes, he's like, all right, sweet, I'm done. He shows up half an hour later. And then next thing you know, I'm talking to him and he's like, all right, look, I got this business card and I just bought a pressure washer. So I'm doing driveways and stuff. And he was pretty young. Like, he was in his early 20s. I'm like, how long have you been doing this for? And he goes, oh, I don't know, a couple of months. And I'm like, oh, okay, what were you doing before? And he's like, I used to be a used car salesman. And I thought,
there we go. Can we get him on the PM's racket?
Well, I love this.
He can talk about superannuation and houses.
Well, this is the thing, right? This guy, he was probably early 20s, and he's like, yeah, I had to. I'm like, oh, so what are you doing this then for? And he goes, oh, I had to walk out because with the shipping crisis right now, right? You
can't sell a car.
You can sell a car, but you can't get it.
No one's getting it, and they don't commission until the car's turned over.
That's right. So if you buy a car today in Australia, you might not get it for 18 months, right?
Yeah, ages,
because of the backlog. So
because we don't make cars in Australia anymore. That's turned to be a fucking pretty stupid idea, didn't it?
Yeah, we also haven't made our own fuel in this country for about 20 years
either.
So
also a very fucking stupid
smart
idea right now.
Very smart, yeah.
We used to have a very flourishing, motoring industry here in Australia, but decided, fuck it, cheaper to get it from like Japan and Vietnam and America and whatnot.
The best we can offer is we've got a couple of depots in fucking South Australia somewhere that put parts together. I think that's all we've got left.
I forget who it was. I was having a conversation with someone the other day. They sold their used car for more than they bought it. In the current market, like cars are a depreciable asset. Basically, you drive it off the lot, you lose 20% immediately. All right. So I know if I spend $25,000 on a car, I know as soon as I drive off the lot, it's now worth $20,000, and that's what cars are because they're a depreciable asset. Makes sense. They're not depreciable. All good in the current environment because we're stupid and fucking decide to ship our motoring industry overseas because we'll save a few bucks. It's trying to bite us in the ass because now we're waiting 18 months for a car and no one can buy a car. So now we're selling used cars, specifically my car, which is a Holden, which used to be an Australian car.
Used to be.
Is now fucking a mint, apparently. So I had a friend tell me recently, going, "Mate, have you saw that? You saw the wagon?" I'm like, "Yeah, mate. Like, fucking, it's the family car. Like, I'm the kind of guy, I'll hold on to a car till it breaks.
Yeah.
And then I'll buy a new car. Because I'm like, there's no point fucking buying a new one. I don't, like, I'm a pretty standard dude. Like,
Yeah,
I don't need,
buying
I
new
just need
cars
to get
is
to point A to B, it's all good.
Buying new
But
cars is a
apparently-
fucking, like, it's a status thing, I think. Like, if as long as my car isn't broken, I'm just going to keep driving it, you know?
Exactly. That's my rule. And when it breaks, then I'll get rid of it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but apparently my car that is now literally close to 15 years old may be worth more than what I purchased it as a second-hand car because it's a Holden car. and people want Holdens. They're like, "Oh, this is amazing. If anyone want to sell a Holden, 20,000." I'm like, I bought this car for $20,000 secondhand,
15
literally 12
years
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Fucking.
Sorry, I don't mean to distract from your story time, but it just got me
I
on a train
like
of thought.
stories about pinatas.
So this kid rocks up and he's like, you know what, I'll take care of it. And he's been in the game for like 2 months. He quit his job as a car salesman because he can't sell cars because he can sell the idea, but the fact that the car doesn't show up until 18 months later means he's not making any commission or anything. So
The commission,
you can't sell any fucking cars. So he gives that up. He hands over, Greeno, get this, business card, pamphlet. He's like, I've just bought a fucking pressure washer, so I'm learning how to do that. And I said, you know what, man? If you learn how to use the pressure washer, I'll hire you to fucking like clean the roof or the driveway or something. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, fucking oath, man. He's like, oh, okay, sweet as. And he hands over the fucking card and the pamphlet. And this kid was like, I don't know, early 20s, Greeno. And he's like, I was just thinking, would it be all right if I just dropped a pamphlet in everyone's fucking letterbox? And I said, man, just go for it. Fucking oath. And I'm like, these are the people, like, I will always give.
Nice, Gary!
I will always give people like that like, I'm happy. Shut up and take my money. Fucking good for you, man. Go out there and get it. He walked off his job because they were, you know, there's nothing you can do. The industry's gone to the toilet. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to start doing my own thing. So here he is, you know, accepting jobs, just running around doing shit. He's like, oh, I'll do whatever. I don't care. Like handyman work. I'm like, good for you, man. It's fucking nice, Gary. That is the kind of shit that, you know, that makes me happy when I see someone doing something like that, you know?
I was going to make a joke about how I've got a pressure washer. And I'm like, mate, I'll do it tomorrow.
No, but like this guy's like,
But
obviously
now
he's a
I would
go-getter.
pay the dude to fucking drive down here.
That's what I'm saying,
Like, good on
man.
him. Like,
Yeah.
fucking credit to it. Definitely fucking double. Let's do a double nice Gary for that dude.
Because at first it was for laziness for me, and now I'm thinking, you know what, I'm going to fucking hire this guy like every month or something just to fucking help him out. Good for you,
No,
man.
good on him. Like he's in a situation where he's like, I can stick around and be fucking dicked around with the commissions and whatnot. And he's like, no, well, I'm just gonna go out and work hard and hopefully someone
Make
hires
my
me to do
own
it.
thing. You know?
Fucking oath, good on him, man. Like, I like that dude. Definitely not Gary.
There you go, and that was my story.
I like stories about pinatas.
Thank you.
We're way behind time, dude. Do we want to skip this this Ukraine stuff?
Well, how about this? We are way behind time. We need to wrap this up, actually. So why don't we just skip to whichever segment you want to do?
No, well, I want to go to Unity Day priorities.
Okay.
Can you put that picture up?
What is the Unity Day priority? Oh, hang on. Yeah, I think I've got it somewhere. We can catch up on the other stuff later. Another time.
Yeah, no, the other stuff we'll do next week. All right, so I want to put this out here. So, our boy Unity Day Troy. So, I haven't heard from him recently. Now, normally, what happens is Unity Day 2020, the year after, kicks off the fucking day after Unity Day. Fuck it, it's business as usual, right?
We're right back in it. It's when you lose the conference final, Greeno, you go to work winning the next conference final the day after you lose.
There's no time. Like fucking, you got to make, the only way we make Unity Day better year after year after year is by making sure we're working on the 27th of the 1st. That's how we do it.
How we roll.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I feel like maybe it's a mistake from us. Maybe it's the office people.
Maybe.
I didn't realize that we didn't put Unity Day Troy under an exclusivity contract.
Oh, no. He's working for someone else. He's been poached. He's been moneyballed, Greeno.
Well, not poached. He's decided to create his own event.
Oh, no. Is he doing a branch off of Unity Day?
He's doing a branch off of Unity Day.
He's going solo, Greeno. He's quitting a band and going solo.
Well, he's not doing it. He's still happy to do Unity Day, but he decided to do his own thing. And here's where the twist comes. This one is an actual concert. other than the fictional one we create on
It's
our
not
show.
fictional if you believe in it, Greeno.
Exactly. So our boy Unity Troy has literally created this event it's happening tomorrow. The Cultural Spectacular.
The Cultural Spectacular.
Which is legitimate. It's a fucking legitimate. There's no fucking Eden Gahal on this rundown. No. He's put together a complete event as part of his TGM Enterprises.
Okay.
Want to give a fucking tip of the hat and also a dick move to Troy. Tip of the hat because he's literally created a fucking event. We know we don't have any listeners in fucking Muswellbrook, but if you are listening, fucking go check out the Spectacular tomorrow. Our boy Troy has put it all together, done an amazing job.
By the way, Walkabout Coffee will be in Area C between 1 p.m. and 6 p.m.
Nice,
there's stand up in this thing too. Yeah. Like if I was in fucking Muswellbrook, I'd go check this bad boy out. Yeah. But dick move because I feel like this has taken him away from creating noonday content.
Yeah, that's true.
We could be having some fucking make-believe people signed up to a gig, but he's putting real people into a real gig.
You know what I'm down for? I'm down for, Greeno. I'm down for the 6 p.m. free soup and rolls.
Nice, Gary!
In the main pavilion. I like a good fucking soup kitchen atmosphere.
Fuck, man. Where was that for Unity Day?
Yeah, we need to be handing out soup. Have you ever seen anybody fight while they're eating soup, Greeno? I never have. I've seen people fight during a steak dinner. I've seen people fight eating hot dogs. Yes.
Yeah.
Hamburgers.
Meat pies. Hamburgers.
I've never seen anyone fight eating soup.
Because you don't want to get burnt, you got to have a nice little balance.
You don't want to spill it on you.
You don't want to spill. You don't want crumbs. You got to have a nice little. There's an etiquette.
And if you're not careful, Greeno, if there was a soup fight that broke out, you'd have to keep watching your bread. People steal bread rolls when there's soup on the table. Trust me.
And the thing with soup as well is there's not it may not be overly hearty, so you don't want to waste it. Yeah. So people are up there thinking, people are just going to fucking throw the soup on people. No one's going to waste the soup because then they've got a bread roll with nothing to dip it in.
Yeah.
So there's method to the madness.
It's true. The Victor show in the chat, Greeno, the Victor show in the chat says, because everyone is quietly slurping their soup.
100%. That's what we're saying, Victor. Exactly. This is fucking what it's all about. This is why I feel like it's lost in a real event and should be used for our fictional event instead.
That's right. So we're going to bring in soup now into Unity Day. We're going to fold soup in.
I feel like now we're stealing off a real event.
Well, now I feel like we should get Dean Hutton back to do soup because
but only like hot dog flavored soup.
No, we can't go back to the hot dogs. Greeno. The hot dogs were the cause of the lawsuit in the first place.
But I feel like
when he scolded all the children with the hot dogs.
We can take a positive out of a negative. We can go, look, fucking we know.
We'll let him back into the fold, but mate, you can't have any meat. You've got to do celery and cauliflower.
Nice, Gary!
Oh, fuck yeah. All right. There you go. All right. That was the Cultural Spectacular. Fantastic.
That's legitimately happening tomorrow. So if you're in Muswellbrook, check it out.
Check it out in Mussy, in the old fucking Mussy, Greeno. Nice
1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Let's do a fucking ad and then we'll wrap this bad boy up.
All right.
It's the JJ Stoner Spring Collection, the perfect attire for any and every occasion you can think of this season. Like we were in the mosh pit full of sweat and everyone's slapping, hitting, and pulling on you. This shit won't rip! Lunch at your favorite cafe? Brunch with the girls? These stylish ensembles will give you the confidence you need to look and feel your best. Or if you're getting arrested for possession, it comes with a built-in police stick-proof body armor. Keep swinging, pigs! Call now, and your order will come with a complimentary ounce of that dankest bubblegum slurricane that the South has to offer. Don't forget the wall tapestry! If you need to cover your wall, it works!
Hello, my name is Frozen Asian, and I'd like to tell you about my show, The Sunday Night Shit Show, every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Along with good conversations and laughing at funny and weird shit we find on the internet, we also have the Hat Cam, where I showcase my myriad of great-looking hats. Here is a testimonial from a great friend of mine who has enjoyed my hats lately.
My I hope your next hat is a bullet. Jesus Christ, what are you, fucking Asian Dick Tracy? What's wrong with you? Why do you have to ruin my evening? Like, I was just gonna listen to my buds do their show, and you just gotta do that. You do the show without the hat.
So you're not enjoying it?
No!
Dude, Asian
come
Dick
on,
Tracy.
secretly you enjoy it.
You look like you're going undercover in Argentina, but it's not working.
I hate you. I hate you.
Oh, come on, you secretly love it.
No, I openly hate it.
And there you have it. So subscribe to the Sunday Night Shit Show at youtube.com/Sunday Night Shit Show. And hope to see you there on Sunday nights. Bye.
Welcome to The Starting Block. Follow on Twitter at The Starting Block. Drop the K at the end. Find the podcast on iTunes or on tavshow.com.
Yes, back on the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Damo, I like it when we occasionally get some hot goss off the press.
Hot goss off the press. I've got it loaded up, ready to go, baby.
Oh, you've got it already?
Yep.
Excellent. So, just Kimmy, what's her title? The Minister of Fun?
Yes, but that's only in the nation of Boogie Stan. Here, she's the number one in the power rankings, Greeno.
Blockhead, yeah, number one blockhead in the power rankings, correct. Sorry, Mary Kay is number one blockhead, but yeah, Kimmy is the number one in the power rankings, correct.
Rankings, that's right.
She said this through in the ad break.
Because the correct classification is obviously very important around here.
We're going to make sure we cover it. We've got 6 listeners, mate. We've got to fucking make sure we don't mess it up.
We have a ridiculous bullshit nickname for everybody. So
that's it. We get our official polls Stefan Sears, who does a poll once a year.
BE from the UK, Greeno, has been active in the chat tonight.
Who hasn't lived in the UK for the better part of a decade, is created a family up there in North Queensland for the last 8-9 years, but still BE from the UK.
BE from the UK. He's not even from the UK, ladies and gentlemen. He's from Muscle.
He's from Australia, happened to live in the UK for a bit. And then, and then we've got Unity Day Troy, who doesn't listen to the show.
That's right. BE from the UK, Greeno. Sorry to interrupt, Greeno.
I like stories about pinatas.
The Culture Festival is not in Muswellbrook. It's in Singleton.
Oh, my apologies. My bad.
My bad too.
Nice.
I'm very horrible with geography. Like, fucking ask me a math question, I'm the man, right?
Well, I don't know what these country bumpkins are doing up there. I don't know.
I didn't realize. So how far is Singleton from Muswellbrook? Is that? I thought that was
pretty
like
close.
same.
It's pretty close. Yeah, it's all new. I regard that as all like Greater Newcastle area. You know, Singleton, Muswellbrook, Newcastle.
Vicinity.
It's in that vicinity. I don't even care
if you're in the vicinity. Kimmy, if you can hop on a flight tonight and get over to Singleton, come fucking check it out, because our boy Troy has put together a fantastic gig.
Okay. There is actually a little airport at Singleton, but they only land like those little single prop planes in there. You can't get a jet in there, you know.
I have legit landed in that airport. I've been flown to Wagga Airport. I've been flown to Singleton Airport, and it's literally. Do you ever see the TV show Wings?
Yeah, with fucking Ned and 90s? Darcy was in that show, wasn't he?
That was, the fucking Ned and Stacey.
Mm-hmm.
The dude played Ned. He was in that. So basically, Wagga Airport is like that airport. There's like one plane that comes in, and you're flying to Wagga. Because who the fuck wants to go to Wagga, right?
Now, was Ned and Stacey before or after Dharma and Greg?
It was before.
No. And it was Jenna Elfman, wasn't it?
No, Jenna Elfman was Dharma and Greg.
Who was Ned? Who was Stacey?
Ned and Stacey was Deborah Messing from
Deborah
Will and
Messing,
Grace.
Will and Grace. Fucking. This is why you're the Frozen Shook King, Greeno.
Yeah, exactly. I know why.
You don't even watch those shows, but you know the answers.
No, but I know it. I watched a movie last night that I hadn't seen fucking a long time. It used to be like, remember the random like cheesy teen comedies you see in Foxtel back in the 90s?
Definitely.
And one was called Drive Me Crazy with fucking Melissa Joan Hart. I watched that last night.
Yeah.
Just randomly. And it was fucking a lot better than I thought it would
Now,
be.
Melissa
to be
Joan
honest.
Hart. Yeah, Melissa Joan Hart.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Now, there was another driving movie.
Also,
Greeno.
Clarissa Explains It.
Clarissa Explains It All. Now, back in the day, she was very cute. Like, let's not pretend like she wasn't. That's
here's the thing.
rewriting
Now,
history. She was very cute back in the day.
Can I tell a quick Greeno story time?
Absolutely.
I like stories about pinatas.
So I'm watching this movie last night, right? And it's fucking Melissa Joan Hart, but then there's a bunch of other ladies in this particular movie.
Okay. Who are we talking about here? Like, please don't give me a Bette Midler. I don't want to know.
No, there's no Bette Midler. So I'm watching this. It's like a teen flick. And I'm looking at this movie, and Melissa Joan Hart is meant to be like the main character. She's the main character. And it's like, well, I guess that this dude's meant to want to hook up with this chick.
So if it was a teen movie back in the day and Melissa Joan Hart was in it, I'm guessing there had to be someone from the cast of Party of Five was also in
There
it.
was no Party of Five. No, there wasn't. But
what about
who there
90210?
No, 90210. But who there was Ali Larter.
Who
played Ali Larter, who was in like Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
Nice, Gary.
Who is way more attractive than Melissa Joan Hart.
Right.
Then there was like the nerdy but hot chick simultaneously who was way more attractive than Melissa Joan Hart.
Ah.
And then there was just like the bad character who was meant to be like the bitch, but she was kind of slutty. Who was more attractive than Melissa Joan Hart?
Yeah, I remember in that movie there was a guy who played the bus driver who was more attractive than Melissa Joan Hart.
Melissa Joan Hart. So it got me thinking. I'm like I don't understand. Out of all these people, this dude could possibly have hooked up with in this movie, why would have chosen Melissa Joan Hart?
Yeah.
Nah.
Nice character.
That's my story time. Sorry.
I like stories about pinatas.
Literally, Melissa Joan Hart is the last person I'm hooking up with in this particular school.
Really?
Because
That's
all these other chicks are
That's
made.
so harsh.
It's not harsh because like the fucking nerdy chick who they called Bovine because she was a fat chick, but then she got skinny. Then she got skinny and got hot. She was fucking way hotter.
I don't know the shows you're talking about, man.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's get back to Kimmy's hot goss off the press, though.
Oh, we got hot goss. Oh, yeah. Bum, bum.
Bum. Is that really a chicka chicka?
Yeah, we got hot goss off the press, Greeno, because you know what? Our number one power ranking member understands how critical to this show our relationship with the supermarket is, because we do a lot of show, minutes wise about things that happen at the supermarket.
Yeah, a lot of high percentage.
That's right.
Between that and bins, we've got that market covered.
Yeah.
We
bin
are
street
the official
captains.
bin show of Australia.
Yeah, that's right.
I think me, you and BE spent a good fucking. BE comes on this show a couple times a year, and we spent maybe 80% of the time we had with BE
talking about rubbish,
talking about bins.
Yeah. When to put the bin out, bin etiquette, all the important
bin
stuff.
captain, etc. Yeah.
Well, so from the number one Power Rankings member, Greeno, comes this article. Supermarket giant Coles announces 10 days of paid gender affirmation leave for transgender and gender diverse staff.
Nice, Gary!
Nice, Gary.
You know me, Damon, I'm very ignorant. I look at those words and I can speak them, but I don't understand what that means.
What do you mean?
Can you help explain what that sentence means?
Well, okay, all right.
I'm lost.
Let me read the headline, and you tell me when to stop and when you're confused. Okay.
Well, as soon as I get to the word gender,
okay.
I'm
Supermarket.
lost from there on in.
Okay. Supermarket. You know supermarket.
Yeah, got it.
Supermarket giant. Yes.
Well, you don't need to say the word giant, so obviously it's a paid ad for Coles. Yep.
Supermarket giant Coles announces 10 days of paid gender affirmation leave.
Well, now I'm lost.
Nice, Gary!
Gender affirmation leave.
All
I
right,
guess so.
Can you explain gender affirmation to me, please, sir?
All right. Well, let's first, before we get into paid gender affirmation leave, shall we talk about gender affirmation?
That's what I mean. I don't care about the paid leave. Okay. I need to understand what gender affirmation is before I can work out whether I feel it's justified that someone gets paid leave for it.
I think we can work our way through this logically, like walking through a minefield and looking for the raised bits of dirt beneath our feet.
Okay.
You know, we can work this out. So gender affirmation, we know what gender is, don't we?
Yeah. Yep.
Do we?
Yeah. Male, female.
What about transgender?
Well, male, female.
Well, no. There's fluid genders as well, Greeno.
Male, female.
No. So we don't really know about transgender then.
Well, no, here's the thing. So if something's fluid, it's either male or female, correct? And they want to float between one of those two options.
I don't know if that's correct.
Well, I think it is correct
I'm
because
not
there's
sure
only
if
two genders. There's male.
Okay.
And there's female. Okay.
All right. Well, hang on. That's word one. So gender. We'll come back. We'll skip gender for now.
Skipping that.
We'll skip.
Steph will
We'll
love this.
skip gender
Steph's
for
gonna
now.
fucking love this show.
Yeah.
We've thrown in we got a poll.
Yeah.
We've had a whole bunch of skip and that's.
Yeah.
Steph's gonna love it.
All right. So we're not sure what gender means. Okay. But let's
Well,
go
I
to the
think I
next
do.
word.
Anyway,
What
we're gonna move on.
what about affirmation?
I feel that is deciding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've looked at my thesaurus.
No, deciding is deciding. Affirmation is like agreeing with the decision.
Okay.
Okay, so you affirm a decision. You know,
Isn't
you
that deciding,
affirm
though?
a call, right?
Isn't that deciding?
But no, you've already decided. Affirmation comes after you decide.
You decided, and you're locking it in, Eddie.
Yeah, you lock in. You're affirmed. You're locked it in.
You've locked
with the
in.
gender.
Okay.
Now we're not sure what the gender is yet, but I'm sure we'll figure it out.
We haven't decided what gender is, though.
That's right.
Male or female,
Okay.
or something other than male or female. Excellent.
Okay, so you get gender.
Leave, we understand.
Leave, we understand. Now, for transgender and gender diverse stuff. So does that mean that if you're not transgender or gender diverse, you can't get the gender affirmation leave? Is that what I'm reading there, or?
That's my question. So if I go,
Look, I affirm my gender as a proud man. Look at my penis. Show me that chick that works in accounting. I will fuck her, if that's what it takes to get the gender affirmation. I will affirm my gender as, heterosexual male, Greeno.
well done, sir. Mark, you are on something here. So you're a fixer. I know nothing about any of those words there. You know nothing about fucking HR. Between us, we fixed it, right? So all we need to do is rock up on Monday to Coles and go, look, got a dick.
Here's my penis.
Decided.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter if you've got a penis or not.
No, that's true, because
go-
that would be no, but a penis
You'd be
affirms. Yeah, doesn't
You're
it?
just affirming. So we can just rock up and go, I've decided, fucking male. And you're like, what do you mean? I'm like, male. See you on day 11.
Day 11, really?
Day 11,
Specific.
we get 10 days leave.
Oh, that's true. Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
So you reckon we could just go in there? Here's a tip: if you work at Coles and you're a young person, what I would
a couple
do?
of weeks off.
That's right.
Just go. I decided male. Now, here's the thing.
No, but Greeno, let's continue it. I would just keep going in once every 2 weeks and change the.
Stole my joke. You don't need that. Because then you can because I need to read the fine print. Because I need to then go in 2 weeks later and go, no, wait.
I'm changing back.
Female. Take 10 days. Come back 10 days later. No. Sorry. Thought about it. I had a bit of time. Had my 10 days. Male.
What if you take 10 days? What if, Greeno, you take 10 days of paid gender affirmation leave and then return on the 11th day and decide to yourself, you know what? I haven't been affirmed enough yet. I don't feel like I'm affirmed enough. And if you return to the boss and said, look, I'm going to need another 10 days. Now, if they don't grant you those 10 days, of course, they would be correctly sexist, bigot, correctly.
And sexist.
Probably a white supremacist as well. Let's be honest here.
Fucking unbelievable. Yeah, the kind of bigotry that happens in Coles.
If
they don't allow me to fucking take 6.5 years off. Yeah. Reaffirming, firming, unaffirming,
reaffirming, affirming.
Yeah. Hey, how firm can I get?
I'm firming right now.
I need to make sure. I need to make sure I'm fully formed. Kimmy, thank you so much for sending that through. That's better than anything I had in the rundown.
Nice, Gary.
That's better than the last 4 weeks of Greeno Does Politics.
We got some more. We got something to see us out. What are we going to do to get out of here?
We got a whole fucking segment. So, Damo.
Wait, I need to interrupt, Greeno.
I like stories about pinatas.
I'm going to go skipping that. I'm going to skip to the Andrew Simon segment. But then we can do something else after. No, because I've got something special for you. Trust me.
We need to do the Mick Potters, sir. We've got to do the Mick Potters.
We can do the Mick Potters after the Andrew Simons. So I just want to give you.
But the Mick Potters is already in the rundown before the.
But I've got for you the perfect send off for Andrew Simons. You have to trust me on this, okay?
All right. That's
now, Andrew Simons, rest in peace. He was an Australian cricketer that myself and Greeno fucking loved.
We
growing
loved
up.
Andrew Simons. Like, to put it into context for our American listeners, think of the best. He's basically Kevin Kiermaier of Australian cricket. Now, you don't know who Kevin Kiermaier is, Damo. Kevin Kiermaier is a fielder who is just fucking ridiculously stupid at fielding.
Yeah.
Like
Jonty Rhodes was like the one that.
He was, but even Jonty Rhodes considered Andrew Simons as a superior fielder. So for American listeners, think of the greatest baseball fielder you've ever seen, and that is who Andrew Simons
That would be your
was.
shortstop in baseball, wouldn't it? The guy with the best reflexes and stuff.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Kevin Kiermaier is an outfielder. He plays center field.
He covers more ground. Yeah.
He just saves so many runs. He's just unbelievable. He stops home runs that shouldn't be stopped.
Right.
He catches balls that should be triples and makes them outs. Like, he's just unbelievable. So Andrew Simons was that for us. When we watched him, we're like, oh, unbelievable. Like, he gets run outs, he stops runs here. And we used to always say, when he was selected for the test team, we were always calling for him back when we first started this show, I believe.
Yep.
That we wanted, like, fucking, we need to get Simo in the test team, even batting 6.
So
because
glad
we've
you
got
brought that
Gilly.
up when we started the show. So important.
Because at the same time, we were like, well, he may only score 30 runs, but we know he's going to save like 20 in the field. So effectively, he's going to score 50.
Yeah, he's plus
And that's
50
why we
for the
looked at
game.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, 100%, because what he does in the field, playing out there, he's going to get us 20, 30 runs in the field. So you got to get Simo in there.
Yeah, he was a great.
Nice, Gary.
He was also an entertaining batsman. Like, as you know, he wouldn't throw his. He kind of threw his wicket away a fair bit, but
Not
he
in
would
the
go out
stupidity of
swinging.
playing
You know.
Maxwell, but-
No, he wasn't in the Maxwell mold. But then I wanted to Greeno, because I saw in the rundown, rest in peace, Roy, and what I got to thinking was, do you remember back when we were doing on the radio show? I think it was like 2011, where Roy entered the Indian version of Big Brother. Do you remember? No, I don't remember that. Oh, we did segments. We did segments about Andrew Simons being in the Indian version of Big Brother. Now, he was in the Indian version of Big Brother after the Monkey Gate situation, which brings us right back to monkeypox, you see, because now Andrew Simons was called a monkey by the Indians when Australia played in India, right? Because he had dread. I don't think they were doing it like racially. I think they were doing it because he had dreadlocks. Like, let's be honest here. If anyone's closer to the monkeys, Andrew Simon or the Indians, it's going to be the Indians.
Nice, Gary.
Let's be honest here. Sorry. I just, look, fuck you, Harbhajan Singh, okay? That's all I'm saying. Fuck you, Harbhajan Singh. So anyway, so he was mocked as like being in monkey and stuff, and then he ended up on the Indian version of Big Brother. And I remember you and I talking about him going on the Indian version of Big Brother. And his statement at the time, I swear to God, Greeno, this is true. He was like, I'm really looking forward to showcasing Australian culture, such as having a barbecue and throwing people into the pool.
Nice, Gary.
That was what Roy that was Roy's idea of Australian culture, was having a barbecue and throwing people into the pool.
People in the pool. Which, when I think about it, is fucking pretty spot on.
It's pretty spot on, yeah.
Because if you rock up to an Australian barbecue and there's a fucking pool nearby,
You will get thrown in. Yeah.
Someone is getting fucking thrown in the
That's
pool.
right, yeah. Because it's summertime, happy country. So we throw people in the pool for fun. That's what we do. Fuck you.
Well, not fun or to be a dickhead. Like, I've been thrown in the pool, like fully dressed with fucking mobiles.
We all
in there.
have. We've all
Years
been
later.
thrown
But
in
it
the pool
happened.
at least
you
once.
understand?
Yeah.
It's part of the culture.
That's right. It's part of
Roy got
the
that.
Australian culture. And he was looking forward to showing everyone the Australian culture. But then, Greeno, so what I thought I'd do was I'd look on YouTube for some footage of Andrew Simons on the Indian version of Big Brother. And I did find a couple of clips of Andrew Simons on the Indian version of Big Brother. But then, you know how whenever you pick a video, you get a whole bunch of different suggested videos, when you go through the YouTube wormhole? And so I thought I had the Andrew Simons clip that I wanted, but then I saw this one in the suggestions, and it's called Oh Boy, Boobs, Pigeons, Bill Laurie and Tony Gregg. And I thought, well, let's just watch this instead. So let's have a look.
It's a 5 for 304. Slowly but surely, the South Africans are clawing their way back. Oh boy. Doesn't she look gorgeous? Well, come on then, say something. He won't say anything. It's got to be a pigeon before he comments.
You dig a hole, you filled up, mate.
Greg will be back shortly. He's just filling a hole at the moment.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
Nice,
That's a fucking nice Gary to the producer there. He's like, fucking let's quickly go to a pigeon. Surely there's got to be one up there somewhere. Cameraman, find a pigeon.
Oh, man. And so, you know, a tip of the hat to fucking Roy, like Andrew Simons, rest in peace, man. But when I was looking for an Andrew Simons clip, I just happened to come across this one. I'm like, oh my God, this is so much fucking better.
That is peak Australian cricket commentary during like the 90s, 2000s with fucking Tony Gregg being massively inappropriate.
Yeah. Look at that, Bill. Now, see, what you have to understand is if you're not familiar with who Tony Gregg and Bill Laurie are, Tony Gregg is the one who's like, look at that, Bill. Now, Bill Laurie was known to be a pigeon fancier.
Pigeon racer. Yeah.
He races pigeons. So Tony is obviously like, well, he doesn't care about females unless they're pigeons. So, and then they throw the fucking female pigeon up on the screen. All right, one more time, Greeno.
Let's go again.
It's a 5 for 304. Slowly but surely, the South Africans are clawing their way back. Oh,
hello.
Boy.
Oh, boy.
Doesn't she look gorgeous? Well, come on then, say something.
Say something, Bill.
Well, in Tony's defense,
he won't say anything. It's got to be a pigeon before he comments.
It's got to be a pigeon before he comments.
You filled up, mate.
It's got to be a pigeon before he comments. It's fucking gold. Here they come.
Greg will be back shortly. He's just filling a hole.
By the way, Nathan Horrocks there, Greeno.
Nice, Gary.
And Nathan Horrocks. I felt sorry for Nathan Horrocks. No one could follow in the steps of Warney. You know, he could have been the fucking Nathan Lyon of his age if he tried. You know,
he could have, but instead we got the goat. So you know,
filling a hole at
yeah, that's
the moment.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
That's what's called a mongrel, black checker. You can put him in the hole while you're at it.
Oh, yes, hurry.
Nice, Horry.
Nice, Gary.
All right, Damo, let's get back to, we're talking about old school if we are.
School, yeah.
We used to have a segment called the Mick Potters on this show.
The Mick
where
Potters.
Basically, what it was is whenever any NRL coach was fired.
I must let you know, by the way, Greeno, that BE has begged us not to do the Mick Potter segment, by the way, in the chat.
We're going to do the Mick Potters.
We're doing it.
That's how we do it. Yeah. So there used to be this segment where no matter what NRL coach was fired, there was always like speculation in the media because they're going to create content, right? So they just fucking make up a whole bunch of people that are in line to get a particular job. And we noticed when we were doing the radio show, when we used to be a sports show, that for some reason, fucking Mick Potter's name was always there. We never heard of Mick Potter. He was over there coaching in England and not doing very well for the most part. He had one good season.
To put it in perspective, it was like, you know, remember every time an NBA coach got sacked, Greeno, they'd be like, oh, Phil Jackson's going to take
Phil Jackson.
Or Pat Riley, Greeno, was the other one. It's like, Pat Riley's going to take over this team. It's going to be great. You know, every single time there was a job opening in the NBA, it was either Phil Jackson or Pat Riley who were going to get the fucking job.
Correct. So back in like the early 2010s in Australia, it was always the Mick Potters. And then he fucking finally, and we did this segment for years. And every time there was a coach fired, we'd go, hey, is there any speculation? Fucking Mick Potter. And Mick Potter would be there. And then he never got the job. And we did it for like 3 years. And then Mick Potter finally got a job.
Mick Potter was St. George, was he not? Greeno?
No, he played for St. George, but he got a job as a coach in the Tigers.
Ah, that's right. And then he drove him into the ground.
So yeah, he didn't do very well.
He didn't do
so
very
well, that segment's now over because now the speculation is done because he got his job. And then he never got a job again.
Yeah.
And this week, fuck me if I didn't bar up when I heard that fucking
Mick Potters.
No,
The Mick Potters are back.
Is in line to be the coach of the Bulldogs and then appointed assistant coach of the Bulldogs.
Interim
for
coach,
this-
Greeno. Interim
coach for the better part of the rest of the season to prove his worth. So now people are talking back to the fucking Mick Potters.
Nice, Gary.
First game tonight against his old team. So it was a spoon off again.
And you know
15th versus 16th.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Mick took the L.
Took the L. Nice, Gary.
Tonight. Yeah.
And you know what,
His
Greeno?
birthday.
I'm going to give Mick Potter the Mitchell Johnson Award.
He's back.
He's back, baby.
Fucking hope he's back. It's so good to have Mick Potter back.
The Mick Potters.
He'll be back.
Because when you're talking about, potential NRL coaches, Greeno, obviously you're talking about the Nathan Browns, the Mick Potters, the
No
Wayne
one
Bennett.
Brown's been hired sadly and doing horribly. All the people that seem to suck keep on getting jobs.
That's true.
So Nathan Brown they lost a game the other week where they were against 12 men for like 70 minutes and still lost.
I only found out the other day that Trent Barrett got the flick, and I only found out Trent Barrett was the coach of the Bulldogs when I heard that he got the flick. I was like, oh really? Someone gave Trent Barrett another job.
Here's the funny thing about Trent Barrett. So Trent Barrett was he got sacked from Manly and then blamed everyone else for why he sucked, right?
Yep.
And then took that responsibility, and then Des came back, and then
later.
Manly started doing all right, and then Trent went over to Penrith and decided to put out. He's got mates in the media, so they were saying, "Oh, the reason Penrith's attack is so good is not because of Ivan Cleary, it's because Trent Barrett is a great attacking coach." Fucking, he's really coaching, right?
Trent Barrett was he seems like a nice guy, but he wasn't even that good of a player.
He was average, yeah. He was all right, but he wasn't great.
He was the best, but it was Trent Barrett or Lockyer, as 5'8" back in those days, and no one compared to Lockie. So
Lockie was the man.
Trent Barrett was like the Sed A. Gibber now of the year.
Yeah, 100%. So then the media had kind of set up this thing where, the Bulldogs were like, we're going to fucking get Trent Barrett. Have a look how good Penrith's attack's going.
Yeah.
Failing to acknowledge the fact that, maybe Penrith just has a lot of good players at that time. So then he went to the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs had the worst attack for the better part of the last 2.5 years. And Penrith's attack managed to stay the exact fucking same as when Trent Barrett was coach. Crazy notion. Maybe coaches are just as good as the fucking players they have around them. Putting it out there. I'm just fucking putting it out there.
And you know what? A nice Gary to Penrith, because their whole thing of keeping all those juniors together and stuff, that's revolutionary. I reckon that's good on them.
What's the way? To be honest, mate, that's the way it should be. Realistically, everyone should have a junior base, and you got to develop your juniors. And I hate the fact
I want to have mostly local boys, and then I'll bring in a few to kind of plug the gaps where I need them, outside players, and then all right, you want to have a solid core of local boys who all know each other and stuff, and that makes it good.
I just feel like it's unfair to be able to bring players up and then they disappear. The MLB has got it's got a good thing in the fact that they make free agents stay with their team for 6 years. When you draft them, you got to stay there for 6 years or whatever.
That's too long, man.
But
I
that's
reckon
too restrictive.
2
That's
years
way too restrictive for a career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but I feel like it punishes people that like Penrith and that bring up young juniors.
Yeah.
And bring it well, and they get poached by other teams, etc. Penrith's always had a great junior base, and credit to Phil Gould, who has been lambasted heaps of Gus fucking comes in, he ruins everything. But that was the thing he focused on in Penrith. He's like, we got this amazing junior base. Let's fucking make sure that we nurture this talent and keep it, and then that way, we're going to have a strong core coming through. Yeah. And then he left and whatnot. But they're like, oh, he didn't win. He had a 5-year plan, blah, blah, blah. He didn't win while I was there. Doesn't matter. Yeah. The reason they're winning now is because he was really encouraging the junior base to stick around. So,
no,
I still think Gus
Penrith did it right.
But,
of course he is. But he understands Penrith. You know, he's been around the Penrith Football Club for a long time. He knows how they operate.
There's no other club out there that has the fucking development and junior base that Penrith does. Like fucking Western Suburbs, man. They love their fucking footy. They had gang violence out there. They had to fucking stop junior games in the last couple of weeks.
The team I played like kiddie footy for is literally like the biggest, you know, junior rugby league team in the Southern Hemisphere or some shit. You know, like it's fucking huge. They've got teams in every fucking division and like there are multiple teams in every division, you know? So like, you're right. Like Western Sydney is obviously like rugby league. That's the beating heart of fucking rugby league right there is Western Sydney. Now, of course, you can make an argument for Newcastle and stuff. Yeah, no one's denying that. North Queensland, don't get me wrong. But I think Gould just
not
understands.
Not as many local juniors.
Yeah, because you know what though? When Gould came in, when Gould was the coach of Penrith, when they won their premiership against Canberra, Greeno, most of those guys were like, you know, fucking Mount Druitt, Penrith, fucking St. Dominic's boys. You know what I mean? Like they all played together in the local leagues. They all, you know, Mark Guy was playing in Mount Druitt. Brandy was playing for fucking St. Dom's. You know, like they were all playing.
Fiddler was playing St. Dom's.
Yeah, no, Brandy was at St. Dom's as well, wasn't he?
He might have been, yeah, I'm saying Fittler was St. Dom's as well. He was St. Dom's boy. Dropped out as soon as he was fucking eligible to drop out of school.
Yep. So they were all playing against each other or with each other, and that's why they won the comp. And I reckon Gould, like, to be fair, like, we've crapped on Gould for 12 years on this show, don't get me wrong. Like, he is a bit of a fucking toss, but I've also respected him a lot when it comes to the way he calls football and stuff. Like, he knows what he's talking about. And I reckon he came into Penrith and thought, you know what, last time we won this, it was with local boys. Let's do it again. And he fucking did. And, you know, nice Gary.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's easy to do with that junior base, though. Like, if you go to another club and try and incorporate the same thing.
Brisbane's always had a very good junior base.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, you can go to Brisbane. You can go to fucking New Zealand and go, we really need to bring up this junior base.
New Zealand's tricky. New Zealand's tricky because you got to talk them out of rugby union first.
Yeah, that's it. Don't play for the All Blacks there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rough one, but at the same time, like, yeah, he did a good job. So, I don't know, where the fuck were we talking about? Mick Potters, were we?
The Mick Potters, Greeno.
All right, we're doing AFL court dates? Or skipping that?
No, fuck it. Why not? Because, you know what? Just because I like the song. So,
all right.
AFL court dates.
This is your baby. Go for it.
All right. One thing we've learned across the years, Greeno, of doing this show is there's a difference between NRL court dates and AFL court dates, even if the song remains the same. Now, what I've noticed is, over the years, the NRL court dates tend to revolve around things like, 1, you bashed your spouse. 2, you took a piss in the back of a taxi. 3, you took a shit in a hotel elevator. Okay, that's usually the realm.
Or you shat on a casino table.
That was Julie. You're thinking of Julian O'Neill, but he didn't take a shit on the casino table. He pissed on the blackjack dealer. There's a difference.
The dealer. My bad.
He pissed on the blackjack dealer.
The finer details. I've got to be more over that. That's my bad.
And that was when he was engaged to Samantha Riley, who at the time was one of our most famous swimmers. Yeah, and she was very cute too. Who knows what? And Julian O'Neill was obviously a Broncos player, so he never did anything wrong, clearly, in my opinion. Yeah, so Julian O'Neill pissed on the blackjack dealer. But one thing we do know is, compared to those rugby league boys, the AFL boys, Greeno, they love their sniffy, don't they?
Love the sniffy, the AFL boys.
Sniffy. Correct. Yeah. Former Saint Sam Fisher charged with large cross-border drug trafficking. And I'm going to give him a nice Gary for that one, Greeno. Fantastic work.
Nice, Gary!
Cross-border drug trafficking. It makes the NRL players who take a piss on a taxi driver on a Manly Boulevard at 1 o'clock on a Sunday morning, it makes them look like Girl Scouts. I love this stuff. Well done, AFL, by the way. Fucking
not just a little bit, not just kind of like, hey man, I'm caught up with I was out for the night. I decided a bit of sniffy. No. It's like, I'm importing. I've got a trolley.
That's right.
I've decided to bring the boys in.
That's so true. Remember Andrew Johns was like, "Oh, I'm holding it for a friend." You know, someone put it in my pocket. Remember when he got picked up on the London Underground or something?
fly back from London,
Yeah.
and he got busted with pills in his pocket.
Pills
He's like,
in his
holding
pocket.
it for a mate.
Holding it for a mate. He literally did the 15-year-old thing that we've all done. I'm holding it for a friend.
Yeah, busted with the smoke in your mouth. You're like, no, mate, holding it for a mate.
That's
Decided
right.
to hold it in my mouth.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest rugby league player at the time. Sam Fisher is like a C-grade AFL player, and he's imported. He's like basically a fucking cartel.
He's a drug trafficker. Yeah.
Fucking nice Gary.
Decided to be Pablo Escobar of the.
They love their fucking sniffy in the
I
Australian
do love
Football
their
League.
sniffy. Like, was he trying to go into WA? Because fucking the Eagles, they love their
Nah,
sniffy.
mate, you can't break into the WA market, Greeno. You know that. It's already covered, mate. The Eagles are all over it.
They're all over. Want to give you a couple of quick. See, here's how I decided to incorporate the baseball at the arse end of the show when no one's listening at 10:30 at night, Australian time. So,
do you want a stat man?
Not a stat man yet. I want to give you fucking a weird fact, right? So, do you know what a no hitter is?
That's when you pitch and someone doesn't hit one against you. Yeah.
No one gets a hit in the entire game. Right. It's fucking like you normally get a win, you have a big celebration. You're like, fucking no one got a hit against me.
It's very rare to get a no hitter. It's like bowling a maiden over and over again.
Not so much. Like no hitters happen. Perfect game is different, but it means no one ever gets on base. No hitter means no one got a hit, but someone might have walked or got hit by a pitch. But no hitters, they happen maybe 10 times a year.
Okay.
But still, there's not a huge amount that happens. Now, what happened throughout the course of the week has ever happened in the 150-plus year history of MLB 6 times. The Cincinnati Reds, who fucking are terrible, threw a no-hitter but lost the game.
Wow.
Nice.
So this team,
fucking wow.
This team
That's got to be it, mate. That's incredible. How could you lose? How could you lose the game if you just throw a no hitter?
So
how can you be worse than someone who gets no hits? I don't understand.
So what happened is the Reds, Hunter Green, fucking credit to him, this rookie, pitched an unbelievable game. He went 8 innings, and in the 8th inning, he walked the first hitter, he walked the second hitter, and then had to come out of the game. The reliever came in, he hit a player, then so he got an out, he hit a player, and then someone
so he's on
grounded
second. Yeah.
Yep. So then he grounded the next play, grounded into a pitch, which meant someone got across the plate and scored a run, even though there was an out made at the play. So they were down 1-0 and they couldn't score a run. So no hits were ever recorded, but they lost the game 1-0.
Oh, scary.
It's only ever happened 6 times in baseball.
Greeno, how about this for a random stat man in the chat? How about this? Sinister Charlie. My grandfather pitched the first no-hitter in Arizona State University history. How about that? Nice, Gary. Fucking nice little stat man.
Nice Gary.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap up the show with a bit of Shohei stat, man.
Shohei.
It's been a while since we've done Shohei.
Love
Shohei created so many new stats that we had to fucking stop it for a bit because like, well, it feels like we're just sucking the dude's dick. But he creates so much history that we have to create it. So Shohei is the second player in MLB history with at least 100 home runs as a batter and 250 strikeouts as a pitcher.
Joining Babe Ruth. Now, imagine if Shohei had been playing at the same age that Babe Ruth was when he started, kind of thing. Because Shohei's come in like kind of 7 years, 8 years into his career, hasn't he?
Yeah, because he played about 6-7 years in Japan, correct?
Yep. So he's come. Imagine if he was there imagine if he was coming through the system at like a fucking 18-year-old. How good he could have been.
Well, it's actually of benefit for Shohei because if he came through the American system, they would have told him you can either
burn
pitch
him out.
No, they would have said you can do one or the other. You can't do both. He went to Japan, showed he could do both.
Carried his team. Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, fucking now we're going to sign the dude because he's so good. He can do both jobs. He also joined Hideki Matsui and Ichiro Suzuki as the only players born in Japan to reach 100 home runs.
Yep.
However, he did it quicker than anyone.
I think it's amazing that Shohei Ohtani is going to be recognized as the greatest baseball player who's ever lived, I think.
Well, he
that's my opinion.
Just for the shortest period of time.
Yes.
Like he's not going to have the longevity. But for the fact that he's doing both these things at such a high level, he is the greatest
for a
baseball
terrible
player.
team, by the way, for the Angels.
No, the Angels they're leading their division at the moment. They're doing all right.
Will they carry it? Will they sustain?
Well, actually, I'm going to take one step back. Babe Ruth was literally the best pitcher at the time when he was pitching, and then he became the best hitter ever.
Yeah.
So he's probably not as good as Babe Ruth, but he's probably the second best player ever.
Right. Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
I think he'll be remembered as the best ever, Shohei.
Oh, he's
Because
amazing.
I reckon he'll still be kicking ass when he's like 37, 38. I think he's got a lot of. I still think he's got a lot of upside.
He won't be doing both. He might still be dominating one way or the other.
Yeah, but he
and
might be a
probably
pitcher
gonna
who
hit it
hit.
up.
He might be a pitcher who hits you a home run every now and then. That's pretty fucking handy, you know. Like,
Well, here's the thing: they don't do the pitches that hit that often anymore. So there's no. So I think what they'll end up doing is once he can't pitch anymore, he'll just hit, which is amazing in itself. But
put him on
he's
first
so good.
base.
Now here's the thing with Shohei. Like I tune in to watch Shohei hit, but literally the best player of our generation bats before him in Mike Trout.
Yeah.
And Mike Trout is so good that his stats compared to anyone else ever to play baseball, and he's still probably underrated. That's how good he is.
Yeah. nice,
So
Gary.
you tune into an Angels game. So like maybe for our Australian listeners, like they don't understand this. If you're watching, imagine watching the greatest footy player of all time, but you always tune into their games, right? Like you watch your team, but you purposely tune in just to watch a certain like
Because you got to watch him while he's playing. Yeah.
You got 100%. Like you got to watch Lockyer, you got to watch Johns, whoever you think your favorite player is, or Thurston, Jordan, etc. That's what's happening in the Angels right now. You've got Mike Trout, who may be the greatest player ever, and you've got Shohei Ohtani, who's doing things
Maybe the greatest player ever. Yeah.
in 100 odd years. And they're batting back to back. And so I'm finding myself like I'm watching the Giants, but I've also got the Angels game going just so I can watch Trout and Ohtani back to back. It's a good situation.
You got to enjoy the stars while they're there, Greeno. You don't get to see it very often.
100%, because you don't appreciate until they're gone. You're like, oh, I really wish I'd watched that particular play. I'm making sure I'm watching Trout. I'm making sure I'm watching Ohtani.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Good stuff.
This show has gone fucking mad long, dude.
Yeah, I've got to piss so bad. We need to wrap this up.
We're going to wrap it up.
Piss my
Fucking wrap it up
pants.
quickly. And then we're all good. All right. Any plugs?
No, I'm not doing a show tomorrow because you're coming to my place tomorrow, Greeno. That's right.
Exactly. This was meant to be the plug for like fucking Lunch of Legends, but Lunch of Legends, my theory is that if there's other guests, does it count as a Lunch of Legends?
It doesn't. It doesn't count as
That's my
Lunch of
theory.
Legends.
That's why I didn't raise it. Yeah. That's why I didn't put it as the title.
And you'll understand that so much more when you get here tomorrow, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It doesn't count.
Oh, are we talking about a limited meal?
No, we're talking about bringing it in. I'm not cooking shit.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Bro. No,
well, because it's not a Lunch of Legends. It's not a Lunch of Legends. It's a hosting event, you know.
Well, that's fine.
Because there's other people coming in, so it's like, you know what? Let's minimize our fucking effort here.
No,
that's right.
100%. No, that's the right thing to do. But
that's right.
I'm glad I didn't label this show Lunch of Legends preview show.
Well, I just would have changed the title anyway.
Of course you would have. All right, I'm going to take a piss.
All right.
Plugs.
Well, I guess we'll see you next week. Follow our friends. You know all our guys by now. You know everyone. Sinister Charlie's in the chat. Follow Sinister Charlie. He streams games. Hey? Okay. See you next week.
See you next week, guys.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. We'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you.
If I say that your tongue is vicious,
if I call you uncouth,
it's simply that.
Who else but a bosom buddy will sit down and tell you the